Well, oh my. The NBA playoffs are absolutely and unequivocally on one. Coming off of one of the best playoff games we've seen in recent years last night, that epic double overtime game between the Spurs and the Thunder, which still I think has the basketball world reeling right now. I'm not going to say tonight's game outdid it, but for the first time in God knows how long, we have both conference finals now going into an overtime for game one in back-to-back nights. And holy crap, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Speaking of crap and just all kinds of bodily excrement streaming out of the Cleveland Cavaliers, basically from the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter on to the end of overtime, is almost unprecedented throughout all NBA history. Guys, I've watched basically every playoff game for the last 30 years. Not every playoff game of this team or that team. Almost every single postseason game that has been played for 30 years. And this is one of the most catastrophic choke jobs I've ever seen in my entire life. The Cavaliers just slipping and sliding all over the court on their own vomit and dookie down the stretch of the fourth quarter. I was watching this game loosely because it was so uncompelling for the whole game. There was literally nothing happening. The Cavs were just beating the Knicks' asses for basically the first 3.5 quarters. The Knicks looked absolutely terrible. And, quite frankly, that should have been anticipated. The New York Knicks, it feels like they haven't played basketball in like a month because they absolutely worked the Philadelphia 76ers, spanked and annihilated them out of the playoffs in a very easy 4-game sweep. And they've just been sitting idly by and waiting as the Cleveland Cavaliers needed to go 7 to dispatch the Detroit Pistons in their semifinal matchup. So the Knicks, not surprisingly at all, were displaying a lot of signs of rust in the beginning parts of this game, and the Cavs were all over them, looking like a team that just played like 48 hours ago in a game 7. So the Cavs storm out of, the gates to start this game. They're in command of this game firmly through the first half, firmly through the third quarter. They were up by, let me put this on you. How does this grab you? 22 points in the fourth quarter, like halfway through the fourth quarter. They were up by 22 points with just a little under 7.5 minutes to go. And that is when all of that bodily fluids started being dispelled out of all of the Cleveland Cavaliers team, because the New York Knicks, and credit to the Knicks, who have been on absolute fire this postseason, been on one, they just simply were so utterly rusty from the layoff. Also, they bring back OG Anunoby tonight, who just didn't look like he had it for the first 3.5 quarters roughly, because he hadn't played in weeks with a hamstring strain. They were just slow playing him. He was basically one of the best players in the NBA at the time that he hurt that hamstring. He was scoring 21 points per game on 77% true shooting percentage while playing elite defense for the New York Knicks. When he got hurt, now he's been out for weeks. So he was displaying rust. The whole team was showing rust. But in the last 7.5 minutes of the fourth quarter and going all the way through overtime, how does this sound? 44-11 run by the New York Knicks. Seriously, how does that grab you? Let that just wash over you. So 7 minutes to end the fourth, 5 minutes in overtime, 12-minute span, where the Cavs were holding a 22-point lead at the beginning of it, end up losing 115-104, an 11-point loss in overtime, outscored 14-3 in the overtime session after a 32-18 blitz by the Knicks in the fourth quarter. And again, when the smoke clears and the dust settles, it is an absolutely unprecedented 44-11 run to end this game by the New York Knicks. Something like you have to go back to 1970, essentially, to find something somewhat similar to what we just saw ensue here in this game. And guys, the ABA and NBA merger point happened in 1976, ushering in the modern era of NBA basketball as we know it. So really, it hasn't been done in the modern era, a Comeback by the Knicks, if you want to credit them, and they do deserve, I think, in this instance, a pretty large percentage of the credit. Or if you're looking at it from the Cavs side of the coin here, just an epic and unprecedented playoff collapse. And should any of us really have been that shocked or surprised by it? Should we really? When we look at one of the main catalysts of this basketball team, one of the main leaders, little game James Harden, ladies and gentlemen. Just when you think this guy has shown us everything, just when you think he has pulled every trick out in the book, literally, I think I have no superlatives left to describe this guy and what he has shown us and put on display throughout his postseason career. I mean, just when you think little game James Harden can't go to the well anymore, can't possibly crap his pants in any more of an extreme fashion in a postseason game, he just keeps raising the bar incredibly. He keeps upping his own standard, or I guess lowering them, whichever way you want to look at it. 15 points for little game Jimbo tonight, 5 of 16 shooting, and 6 turnovers. So again, I think he has more games in this playoff run than he does without in this playoff run, where he has more turnovers than field goals made. This is something that's been being tracked. It's happened for James in his career now for roughly 27% of his career playoff games right now. He has more turnovers than field goals made. Tonight was another instance of that. 6 turnovers for him, 5 field goals made, and 15 points on 16 shots, 1 of 8 from the three-point line, and he was instrumental down the stretch of the fourth quarter and into overtime to absolutely barf this game away, as was the entire Cleveland Cavaliers roster. Just a breathtaking, mind-boggling choke job, and in a series where the Cavaliers are anticipated to be pretty hefty favorites. Or the Knicks, rather, I'm sorry, pretty hefty favorites. The Cavaliers anticipated to be pretty big underdogs. They were 6.5-point dogs in tonight's game, and the Cavs haven't been lighting the world on fire on the road in this postseason. They are the road team in this series, meaning that the Knicks have 4 of the 7 at home, so they're going to have to win 1 at New York. Tonight was a golden opportunity, 22-point lead with 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. This was that game. This is the kind of game that an underdog, a big underdog, has to capitalize on. Simply must be able to execute and close down the stretch. It's not like this was a coin toss game into the fourth quarter and it could have gone either way. A 22-point lead with 7 minutes to go. You simply have to find a way to get it over the hump. And then you kind of alter intrinsically the entire outlook of the series. We saw it with the Denver Nuggets last year against a substantial favorite in the Oklahoma City Thunder. We saw it again last year with the Indiana Pacers as a huge underdog in the finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Both of those teams stole game 1, both in buzzer beater fashion. It was an Aaron Gordon buzzer beater in game 1 for the Nuggets, and it was a Halliburton buzzer beater for the Pacers in game 1 in the finals. And both of those teams took the Thunder to 7 on the strength of getting that game 1. And look, I'm not saying that ultimately the Cavs would have won this series if they held on and won tonight, but it certainly is going to be a long, drawn-out series. They're going to have their opportunities and their looks. It's probably going to go 6 or 7, even if the Knicks found their rhythm in game 2 and they picked back up where they left off in the first 2 series of this postseason, where in the 10 games that they played coming into the series, they had set the all-time NBA record for differential in any 10-game span in the history of the NBA playoffs. So even if they shook off the rust in game 2 and then, turn things around, likely I still think I would have favored them to win the series, but the Cavs would have had a shot. Now, when you lose this game, I think ultimately there are games that count for more than one loss or count for more than one win for the other team. I see it all the time in the NHL playoffs where when it's like a triple overtime game, you just feel the momentum shift going to whichever team wins that game. Like it counts as more than one win. This undeniably counts as more than one loss to the Cavs. Absolutely and thoroughly disheartening. just a punch to the gut, a knife to the back. I honestly, for the second night in a row, I was absolutely speechless and at a loss for words last night by the utter legendary performance authored by Victor Wembanyama, and just how great that game was and what high level that was for really both teams on both sides on the defensive end of things. And tonight, a second consecutive night in the NBA playoffs, I am again left searching for words, stuttering a little bit, sweating again, 2 nights in a row, uncertain of what kind of superlatives, adjectives, what I can say about this game, because holy crap, we just keep seeing things now back-to-back nights, things we either haven't seen in a long time or things we've never seen in NBA history in the postseason. Guys, the NBA is so back. I've been saying for a couple of years that we are at least moving in the right trajectory following the destructive era of LeBron James, beginning around 2010 and going to 2020. That decade of time under LeBron's stewardship, where he just utterly destroyed the league, ushered in load management, player movement, super team builds, lack of competition. I've been saying since like 2021, 2022-ish, we are moving in the proper direction, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take, years to repair and fix it, because it took years to destroy it. And I think now, finally, we are coming out on the other side. Thank you, Victor Wembanyama. And these two series now to start this Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Holy crap. We are so back. The NBA is so back. And, of course, Gary and I are so back as well. Moderator Gary, for yet another thrilling installation of Skap Live After Dark. We got about 900 people in here with us tonight after this ridiculous game that the Cavs and the Knicks just treated us to, and a historic comeback by the New York Knicks, again winning by 11 in overtime, outscoring the Cavs 14-3 in overtime and 44-11 overall in the last 7.5 minutes of regulation and the 5 minutes of overtime. Shout out to Cusmo Jimbo. I know he's in here. I know he's feeling himself right now. I know he's probably strutting around singing, "Go New York, go New York, go," because the Knicks do really look like a team of destiny at this point. I look, a little peek behind the curtain here. Gary and I were talking before we came on, as we typically do. We connect around the fourth quarter. I was making my thumbnail for this live stream and the title, and it was, it was about a 17-point game with, I don't know, like 5 minutes to go. And the title, let me just tell you, in the thumbnail was not flattering at all to the New York Knicks. And I was like, Gary, we're going to go on around 10:35, 10:40. We'll just get right on because this game is such us. And then I looked back up and it was like a 10-point game all of a sudden. It was a 17-point game when I texted for like 3 seconds. And when I looked back up, it was 10. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll hold off. And right as I was saying to Gary that maybe I'll hold off, he was texting me, hold off, because holy crap, I just am at a loss. This is just an incredible back-to-back 2 games to start the conference finals off. Gary, welcome in to you. Gary, as always, is here. Moderator Gary. It's not as late as it's typically is that we're used to going on. Only 11:21 on the East Coast of the good old US of A here. We are about 14 minutes in, and like I said, about 900 people here. We had a ton of people last night, about 1,700 people. So really good turnout these 2 nights in a row. Thank you guys so much for being here. We are going to get to some of your comments, but first let me welcome in Gary. Gary, what's up, my friend? Holy crap, the NBA has been on one for the last 24 hours, hasn't it?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify something for you. When you started out, you said that the Cavs were dominating for the first 3 quarters. Actually, the second and third quarter, because the first quarter, the Knicks were up 23-16 at the end of 1. Then in quarters 2 and 3, Cleveland outscored New York 67-46. And then in the fourth quarter in overtime, New York outscored Cleveland 46-21. So this was a game of runs.
Yeah, it was primarily all Cavs though for most. I mean, like quickly in the second. It was double digits quickly in the second half.
Yes.
For
sure. It was a 2-point game at halftime. It was
right.
So it was close the first half. And then Cleveland just ran all over in the third quarter. And then New York returned the favor in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I'm trying to see exactly when it really started getting away in the third. I mean, it was really around, it was 11 points, quickly into, it was between 10 and 11 points within the first few minutes of the second half. And then it really got away in the fourth quarter. And I can't. Yeah, with 3 minutes to go in the third, it was 77-63. So, it was a 14-point lead nearing the end of the third. And then, 79-64. So it was about, it was like a 15-point lead at the end of the third, somewhere around there. And then a big run for the Cavs to open up the fourth. And I just kind of stopped paying. I was loosely looking up, and I was prepping for something else that I have later this week in New York. I'm actually flying to New York tomorrow, actually, and I have something that I was prepping and doing work for, and I had the game on as I was working on it, and I just kept looking up, and I was like, wow, man, I can't. And it wasn't a shock. Like I said, the Knicks looked to be just very rusty and out of sync from how hot and what ridiculous run they had been on in the first two rounds of these playoffs. So not surprising that a team that lays off for a week plus, and then this other team, their opponent in the Cavs, played less than 48 hours ago in a game 7, not surprising that they would smother them and get all over them. So I wasn't worried for the Knicks and their series long outlook.
Right.
But it was just like, well, chalk this up to just one of those games. Like an underdog got on them. They're hot. They have the rhythm. The Knicks didn't. But boy, did they find the rhythm quickly. And boy, did the Cavs, did those buttholes pucker up quickly.
Here's a stat for you. I got a stat for you. At the 8-minute and 26 mark, the Cavs were up 92-71. They were up 21 points with 8.5 minutes to go in the fourth. That was the gag job. Those last 8 minutes and then the 5 minutes in overtime. The last 13 minutes, the Knicks just went on an insane run.
Gary, I think it was a 22-point lead with 7 minutes to go. I like I said, I was barely at that point paying attention because a 20-something point lead.
I'm looking at 7:52, 93-71. You're correct. So 7:52, under 8 minutes to go. 22-point lead. Yes, that's correct.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Like just a breathtaking choke job. Really. It is. Like, I think I used the word catastrophic in the title, but It's just a breathtaking choke. It really is. Like, just when I think I've seen it all in my lifetime of watching NBA playoff basketball, ladies and gentlemen, James Harden and the Cleveland Cavaliers just keep coming to show me something that I've never seen before. And James Harden, just another unbelievable entry into his prolific pants-crapping career in the postseason. I just can't even with this guy. Like I said, over a quarter of his games all time in his postseason run, a quarter plus. He has more turnovers than field goals made. And tonight, again, 5 of 16 for 15 points. Just unbelievable. Look, we talked a lot about Donovan Mitchell the last couple games. 29 points, 12 of 23 tonight. Definitely, he played the best of any Cavalier player tonight by far, but he just went very silent in the fourth quarter. Some of that is on the Cavs in general and James Harden for not getting him the ball and good opportunities and getting him more involved, not for the coaching staff getting the timeouts and trying to find a way to force feed Donovan Mitchell and get him more involvement down the stretch. And then just him not being more aggressive and assertive in taking command and finding those opportunities for him. But, I mean, Kenny Atkinson's got to wear this. James Harden's got to wear this. And then Donovan Mitchell was on the floor as the best player. I know, Luna. I know. It's crazy. Luna's barking. She can't believe it. everybody that was on the floor is going to wear this for the rest of their careers. The time back in 2026 when the Cavs blew a 22-point lead with 7-some minutes to go in an Eastern Conference Finals game. Just an epic collapse by them. Oh boy, maybe LeBron James will be going to Cleveland after what he's watching here. Maybe LeBron's like, I could right the ship here. Let's get me back home. And then, I'll stop this from happening next season. But just an unbelievable back-to-back nights of NBA basketball, NBA playoff basketball. It's just crazy that, the teams that I was rooting for by and large dropping out. And still, this is like just one of the best playoff seasons I've seen in several years. So I don't know. I don't even know where we go from here, guys. Again, we're at 20 minute mark right now. 950 peeps here in the Skap Live After Dark session, guys. The waters, as always, are warm. Thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you hit those like buttons. Subscribe if you aren't. I see an absolute flurry of commentary and action going on in the live chat. I've been scoping it out. Thank you guys for all of the activity and engagement here, as always. And speaking of comments, going to start a little bit sooner than I typically do at this point. We're at about the 21-ish minute mark. I want to see what direction you guys want to go with comments tonight. I'm trying, truth be told, to not be on here like 3 or 4 plus hours like I have been for several of these last shows. But I do have an early flight to catch to Gotham City. So I'm going to the site of this historic comeback and epic choke job, whichever way you want to look at it. I will be in Gotham tomorrow by midday. So I have an early rise in flight, but I had to jump on here and chat about this game with all of you guys and connect. So Gary, let's begin on some comments here and see what direction these guys want to go. I'll take some of these like I did last night. If you were with us last night, Gary will take some as well. And Gary, of course, will be monitoring the live chat. I'll be watching there as well. Gary will alert me of anything I need to know that's going on over there. But first, and we've got Dami P12 is in. Welcome to the party, Dami. And thank you for firing the first shot here. I appreciate it. Gary is going to take this one. Go ahead, Gary.
And first thing before I start this, if you are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We've got over 800 people in here. Skap is currently sitting at 95.5 thousand subscribers. Let's see if we can get to 95.6 by the end of this live stream. All right, so the first super chat says, Little Game James in prime form. Unconscionable they did not get Mitchell more involved in overtime.
Agreed, Dami. Like I said, Kenny Atkinson, you've got to get timeouts, and you've got to draw something up for this guy. Like, harp on it to all the other players on the floor. Donovan Mitchell's the only guy having a remotely good game right now. Can we just force feed him the ball? But also, like, James Harden, please, please, James, take it upon yourself as the point guard, basically, on this team to, get your lead dog, your off guard, get him the ball, get him involved. And then, of course, look, Donovan Mitchell is like the 6th or 7th leading scorer in NBA playoff history by points per game. He's like 6th or 7th all time in scoring average in the postseason. He's above LeBron James. He's one spot above LeBron on the all-time point per game scoring list in the NBA playoffs. And his usage percentage for his career is top 10 all time. So yes, Kenny Atkinson. Yes, James Harden. Yes, they wear the blame for not getting Mitchell more involved. But Donovan Mitchell's got to answer to that as well. Like I said, a guy, top 10 usage percentage, an alleged alpha with a top 7 scoring average in the postseason. Go demand the ball. Go call for the ball. Take the ball and do something. They got outscored 28-8 or something like that in the last 7.5 minutes. Do something, Donovan Mitchell. And then 14-3 outscored in the overtime. Just like I said, the word I'm using is breathtaking, gag job, and collapse. Okay, didn't have to wait long to see Cusmo Jimbo touch in here. I knew he was here. Big Knicks fan. I said he was walking around singing, "Go New York, go New York, go." Love to see it, Cusmo. Congratulations to you and welcome in. Gary, go ahead with this one.
That rivaled Bills Oilers 93 comeback. Going forward, keep Shamet in the game as often as possible. When he checked back into the game late in the fourth, Knicks built up serious momentum. Go New York, go New York, go.
I mean, look, there is nothing better in the world when you're in the NBA playoffs than when you play a lousy game and you learn a lot of things, and there's a lot of takeaways that you can utilize to grow from and build towards in the next game, but you also get the win. Like, they got all of these lessons and all these teaching moments throughout this game moving forward, and they didn't even have to sacrifice the 1-0 lead. So I think the Knicks, they absolutely dodged the 0-1 whole bullet. I think they still would have come back. Look, they were down 2-1 against the Hawks and didn't break a sweat and absolutely blew them to smithereens in the final 3 games in that series. So I don't think they would have lost this series regardless. But now this is just a crippling and devastating loss for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, I don't know mentally how you regroup from this in less than 48 hours. I don't know. I'll check in Gotham with the Cavs when I touch down tomorrow, maybe. I'll see if Kenny Atkinson is available for an interview. All right, we've got Super Q2Q. Super Q2Q is in next. Gary was right about James. Well, yeah, Gary was right. I mean, I was right. The whole world that has been dumping all over James Harden for his playoff dumpings in his pants were right. This guy, I mean, I just don't know. He is a prime example of why your success or lack thereof in the postseason is a significant factor to your overall legacy, and it's a major bullet point on your resume. Because if you don't look at anything in the postseason, James Harden looks like a top 15 player all time, top 15 to 20 player. When you sprinkle in the inconvenient context and truth about his ridiculous and absurd playoff choke jobs, he really drops out of the top 30 all time. So, I mean, he is one of the biggest playoff choke artists I have ever seen in this sport through 30 plus years of watching it. He might be number one what is 94 is basically when I started watching the NBA. That would be 32 years that I've watched essentially almost every playoff series. And I'm saying James Harden, I think, is the biggest dog, and not in a good way, that I've ever seen in my entire life of watching basketball, when the stakes are at the highest and when the games really, really matter. Just an unbelievable collapse by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Maybe they should bring LeBron in, although LeBron's not all that clutch in playoff scenarios either. But I mean, you can't do worse than this if you let James Harden go and bring something else in. Though I think Harden will be back next year, but I guess it's going to depend on how bad this series goes. Maybe we've got James Cav 81, and holy crap, I hope he's not a Cav fan. James, welcome in. Gary, go ahead with this one.
My Knicks almost reverted back to factory settings. Rusty from the long break. Brunson and Shamet come in clutch. Go Knicks. Did I pronounce that right? Shamet?
Shamet.
Okay.
It's Shamet. Yeah, I didn't even mention Brunson, and he bears mentioning for sure, because this dude is elite. Look, Brunson's another guy that, like, Brunson, you don't think of him as a top 5 player. And I don't think he might have made All-NBA first team once. But I think it was second team. But let me just check it out. He might have been first team one time. Nah. So he's 8 years in the NBA. He's All-NBA second team twice. And he'll make some designation, probably second team again this year. So it will be 3 consecutive second team designations. So, like, he's a guy, look, quite frankly, Brunson is a guy I think is in the kind of the same tier as we talked a lot over the last couple weeks about Anthony Edwards. And a lot of people suggest that Anthony Edwards is top 5, and I say no. I think that he's in the same tier sort of as Brunson. These are two perennial all NBA second team guys. They're in the second tier, I think. But whereas Anthony Edwards, look, say what you will, he plays well against the Nuggets. He's had lots of nice moments in the playoffs, but by and large, he's a playoff dropper. Look at what happens when they're eliminated. Look at the way he plays in series when they lose. And Jalen Brunson, on the other hand, is showing to be a playoff riser. So I think Jalen Brunson is a guy who is kind of making a case now in what we've seen in this postseason from him. Like, yeah, maybe he's the 7th, 8th, 9th best player in the regular season, but when we get into the playoffs, this guy is elite. And tonight, he just showed it again. 38 points on 15 of 29 shooting from the field and massive shots down the stretch. Just a series of massive shots, massive plays, getting people wide open threes. Like, he was just humongous in the fourth quarter and into overtime. I can't say enough about Jalen Brunson. I really respect him. I really respect his heart, his drive. Little guy, tons of clutch gene in that guy, and a ton of dog in the good way, not the choking dog like James Harden, the dog that has fight and heart and character. Really like Jalen Brunson. And look, this Knicks team, they will not be favored against whatever comes out of the West, but I think it's all about matchups. I think the Thunder are a worse matchup for them than the Spurs, but they're going to put up a good fight, whoever they get in the NBA Finals. And yes, I'm kind of saying that this series is over, is what I'm saying already. I'm kind of saying that the Knicks just won the series already. Guys, I'm in the live chat as well, and I'm getting some notifications here from people in the live chat, as well as my wife just messaged me to let me know that Dreamers Pro is in the chat. What's up, sir? Welcome into you, Charles. Every time he's here or anytime I know that he's in the chat, he's been here before, and I always have to tip my hat and thank him very much for. I started doing this 3 years ago, basically like April or March of 2023 is when I started doing this, and I was monetized then shortly thereafter in May of 2023. And when I was just getting started on this platform, Charles, a Dreamers Pro, who had a big platform already, over like 150,000 then. He's got 220 some thousand, I think, now. But he reposted a number of my videos early on and plugged me on in his, whatever that community feed thing is. And he definitely helped me along the way to gain more of a voice and to grow me early on. So if Dreamers Pro is still indeed on here, Charles, salute to you, my friend, a Kobe guy through and through. We are both immense Kobe guys. And we also are LeBron James truthers as well. So we will always be aligned on that. And maybe one of these days you and I can do a collaboration piece at some point together. And thank you so much for being here tonight. All right, next in, we've got Will N 8664. Welcome in, Will. Knicks always playing with their food. That is true. They do it, not as egregiously so as the Oklahoma City Thunder last year in the postseason. The Knicks haven't been doing that this year in the postseason. Again, the 10 games we saw them play, 6 against the Hawks in the first round, 4 against the Sixers in the second round. They lost 2 games by 1 point to the Hawks. And other than that, all-time evisceration by the New York Knicks in 10 games, outscoring their opponents by 194 total points, 19.4 points per game differential, the most in any single 10-game span in NBA playoff history by these New York Knicks. So not playing with their food at all in this postseason, but I think, just a little bit of rust from this team, and especially OG Anunoby, who came off of even more weeks of a layoff because of that hamstring strain. So I think the Knicks have snapped back to form now in these last 7 minutes of regulation and overtime. And I think the Cavs now, just a disastrous collapse by them. I thought this was going to be a 6-game series-ish to begin. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking sweep city now at this point. The Incorruptible is in. Welcome, sir, regular. Always grateful to have you in here, my friend. Brunson, Bridges, and Little Game James for the win. 99 final repeat. Look, the Knicks are going to be partying like it's 1999 because they are going back to the NBA Finals for the first time in 27 years. 1999, that strike-shortened season, 98-99, the year, of course, the bizarre, player strike kind of. It was a 50-game year that year. The year Michael Jordan stepped away, he actually cut his finger with a cigar cutter while in the layoff, which I think contributed to him not playing then that following season. Plus, of course, the Reinsdorf and the Phil Jackson fallout. Jordan said he wouldn't play for anybody other than Phil Jackson. All that stuff factoring in. Plus, Jordan with the storybook, exit going, the repeat, hitting the game-winning series clinching shot. All of that stuff factors in. So a weird transitional year in 98-99, plus the 50-game shortened season. The Knicks actually go from the 8th seed that year and take on the 22-year-old Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs, the first of their championship dynastic run, the first of 5 finals there that season. That's it. The Knicks haven't been back since, and they haven't won since the early 70s. I haven't checked this yet. Gary, would you be able to check that? I keep saying it was 73 was the last time that the Knicks won. That's totally off the top of my head. I may be wrong on that. Can you check?
It is. I'll double check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not spreading misinformation or anything like that. You guys know what a big stat head I am, so I don't want to get the year wrong because it's totally top of my head that I've been saying 73 was the Knicks' final title, actual NBA championship. Gary's giving me the thumbs up. It was. So 73 to 2026. And again, look, it's going to be they will be huge underdogs no matter who comes out at that other end between the Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. But the Knicks are on just such a crazy run right now. After going down 2-1 in the first round to the Hawks, and again, losing back-to-back games in games 2 and 3 by 1 point, now they have not lost a single game, and they just look like a team of destiny to at least get there this season. And Jalen Brunson is blazing the trail to potentially becoming like a Knicks Mount Rushmore player. Hell, I don't think they can win the chip this year, but if they do, he might be the best Knick ever, possibly. Yes, I went there. Okay, we've got JXY Savage, 82.95, a regular in again. Thank you very much. Little Game James, LOL. He also tried to show up in game 7, but they end up winning. And my name is Jay Savage. Yo, so it is Savage. I've just been inferring that that's the way it's pronounced. And I got it right. But now that I know that your name is Jay, I'll just call you Jay. Jay, look, I don't want another super chat for you to answer this, please. But Gary, can you go into the live comments and watch for an answer from Jay Savage? Jay, be honest with me now. Is Jay your full real name? Because Skap Attack, I am Skap Attack because my last name is Skapanak. My first name is Jay, and it is a full J. That is on my birth certificate, on my driver's license. Are you Jay on your birth certificate? Or is it like short for Jason or John or something? No shade either way. I just want to know if it's another full J, if we are to birth given Jays or not, birth name given Jays. Let me know in the live chat. Gary, keep an eye out. Either way, though, Jay, I will call you Jay from now on. From one J to, go ahead, Gary.
His name is James.
James. Okay. All right. Well, James, I wouldn't go by James either with what Little Game James Harden is doing to that name. So let's just go from one J to another J. Thank you, sir. And thank you for being here and supporting me in this stream, like basically every single night. Stump 4522 is in next and in again, because Stump is always in here every night as well. Who's that beard guy that got carried in game 7 against the Pistons? He showed up again in OT with 5 of 16 field goals, 3 assists, and 6 turnovers. Yeah, that would be little game James Harden stump if you need him. And again, just I've run out of superlatives. It's kind of like when I was watching Michael Jordan and then later Kobe Bryant. Like I just sometimes, even as expansive as my vocabulary might be, I just sometimes am at a loss for words. I just don't possess the words anymore to really describe the levels that I'm seeing of greatness or the antithesis thereof in James Harden's case here. Because just when I think he can't, like, isn't there some point? I'm just thinking out loud and asking the question: isn't there some point where you have failed so egregiously at such a high level that you just say, F it? Like, I've already done it all. I've been to the mountaintop of chokes. I've crapped my pants on national worldwide TV in the biggest of moments. Like, what more can I do to hurt myself and my legacy? Let me just let it fly and play loose and free. Like, don't you reach that level or a point at some time as an utter legendary playoff choke artist like James Harden? Apparently not, because this dude still freezes and chokes up like he's never been there before. So it's just incredible. LeBron James should send James Harden an edible arrangement at the end of this playoff run, because as egregious as LeBron James has been throughout his career in the clutch in the postseason, James Harden makes LeBron actually look clutch in playoff settings. That's how bad James Harden is. The worst playoff clutch time performer, I think, of all time. We've got James back in. And James, sorry, I never did apologize to you for that last comment, inferring that James Cav 81 might have meant that you were a Cavs fan. You are, in fact, a Knicks fan. So congratulations to you. And James says, Superman Brunson. He really is. This guy is just on a different level in the postseason. It kind of reminds me, actually, even maybe not to this level, because I think Brunson has been higher regular season level than this next guy I'm about to talk about. But Gary, what's your take on? I don't even know if I want to bring this analogy up or not. Let me see the play. Let me see the. I want to see the playoff record, real fast before I invoke. This name with Brunson. And they're different kind of guys, but And see, this guy's under 500 in his postseason career, which is crazy to me. I'll just let the cat out of the bag. I'm talking about Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy Butler, who for his regular season career, 18.4 points per game, and never all NBA first team. Never. He's made barely 1/3 team, 2 third teams, 3 third. He has made 4 NBA third team selections and 1 second team selection. So he's only been second team once in his 15-year career and third team 4 times, never a first team designation. But then in the postseason, though, this guy just goes off sometimes, like 27 points per game for a 17-game run in 2021, 2022, and then 27 points again for a 22-game run in 2023. I kind of think, is Brunson approaching big like Jimmy Butler stats, playoff Jimmy, where like he's just on a different level come postseason? Like, we don't think of him maybe as that dude in the regular season, but when the playoffs come, he becomes that dude. Am I sounding crazy here, Gary, or do you kind of see my analogy?
Yeah, I can see that analogy, and I think it'd probably be better to revisit after this postseason concludes to see just where Jalen Brunson finishes. But I think it's an analogy to bookmark and then, further analyze after the postseason. But I think it has legs.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's been to NBA Finals series, and obviously Jalen Brunson is just trying to get to his first now. And I think Brunson, like I said, he's going to make 3 straight second team selections now. I think this year he'll be all NBA second team. So perhaps Butler is probably a higher level in the Brunson is probably a higher level than Butler ever has been in the regular season. Although I have to say Jimmy Butler is an elite defender. So we got to factor that in too. He's made several All-NBA defensive selections. So Brunson, not as good as Butler on that side of the ball. All right, let's bring in Jay, my namesake. Jay, what's up, brother? Jay Savage, 8295. They turned the magnet ball on for the New York Knicks. Did you see the Landry Shamet three-pointer he made in the corner? Go ahead, Gary.
I was going to say I needed to read this, but you went ahead and read it, so it's all good.
Sorry, I'll read the next one, and then I'll turn it back over to you because we've got some lengthier ones coming up. Yes, Jay, I like the NBA conspiratorial talks as much as anybody. I think there are some good NBA conspiracy theories, like, the NBA draft lottery is undeniably rigged. But in terms of the magnet in the rim, like, that's going a little too far for me, Jay. I can't follow you to that one. Like, I like conspiracy theories as much as the next person, particularly sports related ones. But the magnet, you made your case. I'm not feeling the magnet conspiracy, but the Knicks were on a roll, definitely, in the last 7 and then the first 5. So basically a 12-minute run, again, to end regulation and then through all of overtime. 44-11 run. 11 points scored by the Cavaliers. So maybe, Jay, what happened was the NBA offices, like Commissioner Silver was sitting in the NBA offices, like surrounded just by like a plethora of monitors, like 30 monitors, like Ozymandias in the Watchmen. And he presses the button on, he turns the magnet on the rim for the Knicks while he shuts the magnet off for the Cavaliers. That must have been what happened, Jay. Magnet for one, not the magnet on for the other. We've got Critical Collects in next. What's up, Critical Collects? Welcome in. Brunson deserves his respect. I've been giving it to him. I think he is him in the postseason. Quite frankly, you can make a case that Brunson has been the best playoff performer in these NBA playoffs right now. Like, yes, Victor Wembanyama, of course, after the game 1 that he produced last night against the Thunder, is going to be getting his flowers, rightfully so. And maybe by the time this postseason run ends, the major takeaway will be Victor Wembanyama. But to this point, through the first 2 rounds, you can make a case Jalen Brunson is the guy. So I'm giving him his respect. In fact, I want to look something up while I bring Gary in to read Will N's next comment. And Will, thank you for your generous donation here. I appreciate it.
I still don't understand the logic with the draft even to this day. Brunson came off of back-to-back chips with Nova and being a National Player of the Year, yet he doesn't even break top 20 in draft.
Yeah, I mean, undersized. I get, you can say questionable athleticism as well for his size. Let me see exactly what his height list and weight is. 6'2", 190. And the crazy thing is, like, look, he came in the NBA and wasn't that really anything special with Dallas. Like, he played with Dallas for 4 years. They had this guy in the building for 4 years till his age 25 season. He scored 9 points per game in his first year, 8 points per game in his second year, jumped to 12 points per game, and was the sixth man of the he finished 4th in sixth man of the year voting. So, I mean, he wasn't even really a starter his first 3 years. He started 61 of 79 games, and in his 4th year with Dallas, 16 points per game, and then they just let him go. And since then, since he got to New York, he's been great. 24 points per game, 29 points per game, 26 points per game in back-to-back years, and now 3 straight All-NBA second-team selections. So sometimes you just got to get to your place. You just got to get to where you belong. And the one thing I wanted to look up was the scoring. And you've got Jalen Brunson right now is 3rd in the NBA playoffs right now, 27.4 points per game. Who knows, factoring in this next one, where he might end up. Cade Cunningham is out of the playoffs now, so he won't be altering his point per game output anymore. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is is right there as well, 28.6 points per game for him. So obviously Shea is still underway in the conference finals, but didn't look so good in game one of those conference finals. And I'll tell you this, Karl Anthony Towns has been going to work in this postseason as well. In fact, Karl Anthony Towns is on one as well. We got to give Karl Anthony Towns a shout out right now because what he's doing, I think, is going under the radar. You guys know I like to talk about advanced metrics from time to time. The 4 king metrics to me: player efficiency rating, win share, box plus minus, and value over replacement. What if I were to tell you that Karl Anthony Towns is leading the NBA postseason right now in PER, in win share, in BPM, and in VORP? Karl Anthony Towns is leading the NBA playoffs in all 4 of those categories. And he is number 1 in the NBA in defensive box plus minus in these playoffs, above Victor Wembanyama. So, I mean, I look, the defensive rating, Wemby's 1, Luke Cornett actually shockingly is 2, also on the Spurs. And then Karl Anthony Towns is 3rd in that metric. So Karl Anthony Towns has also been on 1. And before OG Anunoby got hurt with that hamstring strain, remember, like I said, he was averaging 21 points per game on 77% true shooting. So these Knicks they're on a roll. So people will count them out. And yes, this series is already over, damn it. People will count them out in the NBA finals, but that will be a mistake. I think, yes, I myself will favor either team that comes from the West, but the Knicks are not going to go out silently. They've got a really good and an elite playoff constructed roster, and all of them are playing great and clicking right now. All right, the Incorruptible is back in. Gary, I'll take this one real quick. Time to upgrade Jimmy Clubs and buffets to James Heimlich, as he's always choking and it never seems to be at the buffet. No, that's for damn sure, Incorruptible. Jimmy Buffet. Look, James Harden does his best work at the buffet line when he's eating himself out of various NBA cities, or at the strip clubs where he once famously got his jersey retired. They hung his jersey from the ceiling of a strip club one time because he dropped $1 million in one night. This cat dropped $1 million, $1 million US in a strip club in one sitting, and they hung his jersey from the ceiling. It's probably the only place his jersey's ever going to be hanging from. Certainly if it's we're talking about NBA arenas. But yes, at the buffet lines or at the strip club, Jim is elite. But when he gets on an NBA hardwood during the postseason, primarily May or June, well, who am I kidding? This guy never plays in June. He's played in June one time in like 19 years. So primarily in May, he's just choking all over himself, but not a choking problem at the buffet line, Incorruptible. He gets all those carbs and all those calories in for sure. All right, we've got Retro Frontier 86 in next. Welcome in, Retro Frontier, and thank you for being here, my friend. Gary, I'll turn this one over to you.
In light of San Antonio winning game 1, do you think they are taking this series? Also, do you think this goes 7 games? Keep up the great work. Been binging your LeBron videos the last couple days. LOL.
Thank you, Retro Frontier, so much for your support, and thank you for coming on to Team Skap. I always love to get relatively new people on the team and welcome you into the family. Appreciate you and appreciate you for being in these live streams. It's been a great run over these last couple weeks in these playoffs. So thank you guys, and thank you, Retro Frontier. I don't waffle on my picks typically in the playoffs unless I feel a great deal of conviction towards changing or altering that pick. I had the Thunder in 7 to start the series against the Spurs, but I think I am ready to flop because I do feel a great sense of conviction about the fact that the Spurs can and will win this series at this point. They did not have De'Aaron Fox in game 1. I don't know what his availability is moving forward, but I will anticipate his return at some point in this series. Maybe they slow play him and leave him out since they got game one. That maybe they hold him still for game two and make sure he's definitely ready and healthy before they bring him back. But they still won anyway without him, and they were the better team most of the game to me. And then the Thunder flexed their muscles in the fourth and relied on that, all of that experience that we were talking about that they captured during their run last year, while the Spurs are inexperienced and young and haven't been there. They leaned on all of that and their depth, so they were much fresher in the fourth quarter and into the overtimes than the Spurs were. And yet the Spurs still rose to the challenge, answered all the questions, and got that win. And now, in 6 times that these two teams have met this season, the Spurs have won 5 of them. It's just time to admit that this is a bad matchup for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've got elite, big, athletic guys on the perimeter and on the wings that they can throw at Shea to slow him down defensively. And then you've got this mutant, this absolute alien, not of this world, Victor Wembanyama, who is patrolling the paint and erasing everything else. So, yeah, I think, and they have no answer for him on the defensive end. So I really do. I think that the Spurs will win that series. And then do I think that this series goes 7, Retro Frontier, this Cavs Knicks series? Hell no. I didn't think it was going 7 before tonight. And now after tonight, I certainly damn sure don't think it's going 7. I don't even think it's going to go 5 now at this point. This loss counts as like 3 losses in my estimation for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I picked the Knicks in 6 before, and now I might be wanting to get my broom and my dustpan out on behalf of these Cavs moving forward. Emmanuel is up next. What's up? Welcome in, my friend. Another regular. Thank you so much. Donovan Mitchell has to have 30 to 35 and 12 in order to possibly win and not get swept this MF Harden. Yes. Donovan Mitchell, agreed, has to show up and show out to just steal like 1 or 2 games now at this point in my estimation. And look, I've been hard on Donovan Mitchell the last couple shows. Gary and I got into a big fight, even though Gary doesn't even feel that strongly about Donovan Mitchell. But look, Donovan Mitchell I think he did as much as he can do this season. I think this is a successful year for Donovan Mitchell. He got game 7 on the road. He got out of the second round for the first time in his playoff career. I don't think they're the better team in this series. I think the Knicks have the better team. They're favored. I think they're on a roll. I think they should win this series. No shame to Donovan Mitchell in losing this series, though you don't want to lose a game that you were up by 22 points in with 7.5 minutes to go. Like, that's obviously a bad look, no matter how outmatched you might be in a series. So Mitchell's got to wear that. But overall, the Knicks are just on one right now. They look like a team of destiny, and I'm not going to be overly harsh on Donovan Mitchell if and when they lose the series. Little game James, though, he's something else. He's a different case. I will be hard on little game James because of the other storied and prolific playoff chokes that he has authored throughout his career, and the fact that from a historic standpoint, from a career resume standpoint, this guy is expected to do more than Donovan Mitchell because he is supposedly an all-time great player. Like his individual accolades and numbers and stats and stuff would have you believe that he is an all-time great player. He's been to 1 NBA Finals series, and it was as the 6th man when he was like 20 years old. So that's it. And hasn't been back since, and he's been barfing all over himself ever since, including, by the way, that series when he was the 6th man when he was like 20 years old in 2012 when it was the Thunder, obviously, and the Heat. All right, Jay, what's up, brother? Welcome in, my namesake. Thank you for your continued support here of us. Gary, I'll turn this one over to you, actually, and get a sip of water, and then I might take over for a couple.
Is little game James Harden the greatest choke artist in NBA history? We need a little game James video compilation from you, LOL. Well, I don't think James Harden tops the king of chokes, which is, of course, LeBron.
You know what, Gary? I hate to defend LeBron, but I have to disagree. I think little game James surpasses LeBron James.
2011 trumps everything. 2011, even if James Harden had 10 choke jobs, it doesn't overpower that one. You stack the entire deck to bully and railroad the league, and then you shrunk like a little bitch when you were up 88-73 with like 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and then you taunted the Mavericks bench, and Dirk and Jason Terry were on that bench and looked at each other and said, oh, hell no, we're not going out like that. They're going what like a 25-10 run or something 20-5 run, something crazy to close out the game. Still game 2, and all of a sudden LeBron and Wade are sitting there with their jaws on the floor. Whereas if they had just been humble, like the Spurs and Wemby, and went on with their business, they would have closed out game 2. So that 2011, I don't care if LeBron wins the next 5 championships in a row. That's still 2011 makes him the biggest choker all time.
Well, Gary, I mean, game 2 wasn't even that bad. Game 4, they were up by 9 in the fourth with a 2-1 series lead. They go up 3-1 if they capitalize on that 9-point lead in the fourth, and they choke that away, and it goes from what would have been a 3-1 series lead and probably an easy title win for LeBron in like 5 games to they never won another game the rest of the way, and it was 2-2 after that series. And in that game 4, LeBron, in 45 minutes played out of the 48 minutes of the game, 8 points on 3 of 11 shooting in that game, which was an 86-83 final. So, Gary, you don't have to sell me. The worst choke in organized sports history was LeBron James in 2011. So you make a very good case. But LeBron, at least, look, he did have super teams and whatever, but at least he does have 4 rings. I don't think they count for much, Gary, but at least he's got James Harden he's been to 1 finals ultimately. It's close. It's a toss-up. But real quick to Jay's point, I made a video. It's one of my favorite videos in my entire catalog of like 900 published videos. It's called The Harden System or something. It's called The Harden System, Buffet Lines, Strip Clubs, and Playoff Choke Jobs or something. And it's the thumbnail of the video is James Harden with a little strip club pole. It's like a pole and like a silhouette of a stripper, and then a Golden Corral restaurant front on the other side of him. And it's about a 9 or 10 minute video, and it really details his epic run of playoff gaggery. But Jay, to your point, maybe I haven't refreshed that. It's been like two more playoff runs at least since that video. So potentially I need to update that and make another entry into that Harden system, Jay. So perhaps keep an eye for that when they eventually lose this series, which likely will be earlier rather than later. Okay, we've got DJang 1498 in DJang. Welcome into you. Thank you so much. Can't be on tonight. Still wanted to show support. Well, DJing, thank you. You are typically on every night, and you're making tons of comments, and you're in the live chat. You're in the sponsor area here, and it really does. Your support, generosity, and continued engagement here really does mean a lot to me, even when you can't be on. I thank you very much for that. We've got Mind of the North Star is in next. What chatter? Asking, Gary, do you know to what chatter that Mind of the North Star is referring to? I said, did I say something about chatter of some sort? I say a lot. I've slept like 3 to 4 hours a night for like the last month. So I'm not sure what everything I say, Mind of the North Star. Go ahead and clarify on the live chat, Gary. Keep an eye out on the live chat. Mind of the North Star, if you're still here, that was about 50 minutes ago that you sent that. So we're a little behind, but Mind of the North Star, if you're here, come and clarify what chatter are you referring to? Gary, keep an eye for a couple of these and I'll read them and then turn it back over to you after a couple if Mind of the North Star hasn't clarified that. But in the meantime, Stump 4522, we'll bring him back in. How's Little Game James a -6 despite choking? That's true. Not that bad of a plus minus for Little Game James. But still, no one was that bad in at least the starting lineup for the Cavs. Jarrett Allen with a -10, and Donovan Mitchell actually with a -13 were the two worst. Then Evan Mobley and James Harden both -6s. Dean Wade actually was a +1. And then on the bench, some bad plus minuses. Sam Merrill, who was the star and the savior of Game 7, you could say, a -17, game worse for him tonight. And then on the other end, all of the Knicks starters were in the positives, double-digit positives, I should say. Well, minus Josh Hart, who was a -23 in 31 minutes. Yikes. But you brought in Landry Shamet off the bench, who was a +25 in only 17 minutes. And then Jalen Brunson +15, Bridges +12, OG Anunoby +15, and Karl Anthony Towns +13. So just a team effort by the Knicks, obviously, but they're led by the head of the snake for them, Jalen Brunson, who has just been a scoring savant and dynamo in this postseason to this point. Third in points per game, and that's probably going to go up to second once you factor in his 38 spot tonight. And then Karl Anthony Towns, from an advanced standpoint, has been leading the NBA in everything. AJ O'Henry is in next. AJ O'Henry 447. What's up, AJ? Bet Skap, since you're coming to NY, you can make my graduation from college at Stony Brook University tomorrow. Go New York, go New York, go. Well, AJ, I want to say I land at like, I don't know, around noon or 1 or something like that at LaGuardia. Then I have to take what is probably going to be a 2-hour, 17-mile Uber drive for like $130 to get into the city and check into my hotel. I mean, I would like to come to Stony Brook to check in on you. Also, I just want to say, AJ, that I'm very thankful to have a young person in this. Typically, my audience skews older, so always a pleasure to have a young buck in here. Shout out to you and congratulations to you for graduating as well. I don't know exactly where Stony Brook is in relation to the city, but I'll see what I can do, AJ. I'm not in for long. It's all business. It's a business trip for me. I might just wear like camouflage fatigues like the Miami Hurricanes in that one championship that they played against, I think, Penn State back in like the 80s, I want to say, because I'm coming for business to crack some heads in a little high profile debate, which will be hopefully a very big video for House of Highlights and Clash, a collaboration. I can't say anything else about it, but stay tuned for additional updates on that coming down the pike. I'll let you guys know more information when it's ready to release and make sure that I tell you about the collaboration. But yes, I'll see. So I'm not in for long. I'm in for like literally 30 hours total, but I'll see what I can do, AJ. Would love to catch some pops, if you will, some drinks with you for your graduation day. We've got go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Gary.
Okay, he clarified in the chat. Harden had a good game last series, and a reporter asked about the chatter around his playoff history. Harden answered, "What chatter?"
That's interesting. That's an interesting take by I believe it was it was Mind. Yes, it was Mind of the North Star. Yes, to answer your question, the chatter that everybody's been talking about for like 15 years about his epic and colossal collapses. Wow, Little Game James. You're going to play that card. Like, you don't read your own press. You don't see your own social media clippings. Maybe he doesn't. Hopefully, more power to him if he just like signs off and doesn't pay attention to any of that. I know KD certainly and LeBron James don't have it in them to do that. But maybe Harden isn't on any social media. Maybe he just goes to some remote desert island at the end of the playoffs every year and just stays away for like 2 or 3 months after each season that he craps in his pants in the playoffs. So maybe, like I said, more power to him if he can do it and not listen to it. But I find that very, very hard to believe, particularly because the writers, the reporters, whatever in these press conferences are asking him about it probably every year. Okay, next in we've got, is it Jamie Martinez, 2258, I believe. Thank you, Jamie. Welcome into you. James Harden tonight, it's a complete crap. Raptors coach voice. Yes, that would be Darko Rajakovic, the straight legend, Serbian coach, that is, of the Toronto Raptors, on that legendary rant that he went on in the post-game presser after the Lakers hit them with a 23-2 free throw discrepancy in the fourth quarter alone. I think it was like 38-11 or something, the free throw discrepancy in that game. A 1-point Lakers win in that game, by the way. So, yes, Darko was incensed in that post-game presser. And, of course, that's also the legendary post-game drop by LeBron when asked about their coach was really irate about that free throw discrepancy. What do you have to say about it? And LeBron with that sheepish, meek little look on his face, he's like, I think they fouled and we didn't. So just a legendary post-game run by several parties after that game. I think it was in 2024, I want to say that game was. But yes, shout out to Darko. Rob Sports Cards is in next. Why was Harden guarding Brunson down the stretch? That's a great question. James Harden, say what you will about how good that guy's offensive game was at peak, because it was, though he was quite a grifter of the free throws as well, and a free throw merchant. He basically was the precursor of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the things we see from him. But as great as Harden's numbers and analytics were from an offensive standpoint, the cat has never been a good defender, not ever. And he damn sure isn't one at like 37 years of age. So, yeah, they were absolutely hunting James Harden down the stretch in the fourth quarter and overtimes. And it happened that Brunson was being guarded by him several times. And look, some of that was like on switches and they were like initiating picks or whatever to get that matchup. But they were essentially the Knicks were just hunting Harden on that side, like trying to get him on whoever they wanted him to be matched up on and going at him. And it worked to perfection while he was gagging on the other end, missing a plethora of shots, turning the ball over. Yeah, just typical James Harden stuff, Rob. So, your guess is as good as mine on that one. It's definitely an adjustment that Kenny is going to have to look into moving forward in the next, 40 hours between this game and the next one. I just don't know. Just like with the Thunder after last night, like I don't know where you go in terms of adjustments with the way that game went. I don't know where the Cavaliers are going to go in terms of adjustments after that. Like, how do you mentally even overcome blowing a 22-point lead with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of a conference finals? All right, we next welcome in George Costanza, who is the Human Fund CEO. And this is crazy. We get Ric Flair in these live streams. We have the President of the United States in here from time to time, and George Costanza, the Human Fund CEO as well. So big turnout in these Skap Live After Dark sessions. I don't support either team. I hope James fails New York. So look, when you don't have any dog in the fight, Costanza, it's always a fun watch. Like if you really hate a team or you really love a team, there's a lot of anxiety, animosity, fear that comes over you from time to time as you're watching these series. But when you really don't care who wins, all you have to root for is great basketball. And I'll even go so far as to say, if I have a dog in the fight, I'd rather just have it be blowouts. Like, I just want my team to win by 40 every night or lose by 40 so I can wrap my head around it. I don't want to see them lose on a gut-wrenching buzzer beater or even if they win in a close game, like you feel like you're beat up afterwards, like you were in like a bar fight or something. I want bad games either way when my team's involved. When I don't have a dog in the fight, just give me great basketball, damn it. And we've had 2 back-to-back great nights of basketball. So lucky for us. Spartan 4196 is up next. What's up, Spartan? Welcome into you. People talk about how bad the Luka trade was, but Brunson leaving should be just as infamous to the Mavs fans. Fair point. Like I said, they had that guy in their building, in the locker room for 4 years, but not just that, he was older. It's not like he was 19 when he came in the NBA and he played till he was like 22, and then he went somewhere else and then matured and grew into the player that he was. He's 25 years old in his last year with the Dallas Mavericks. He was 26 in his first year with the New York Knicks. That's an older player already. So like they had that guy in the locker room. They could see what they had. They knew what kind of character he had. And he had good moments, specifically in the playoffs. So the fact that they let that guy get away, you're right, Spartan, not quite as bad as the Luka trade. Though, while Cooper Flag wasn't manifested directly from the Cooper Flag or directly from the Luka Doncic trade, that draft pick was a byproduct of the trade. So Cooper Flag, essentially, if you're counting him as something that you get for Luka, that doesn't look so bad all of a sudden. So maybe in that regard, the Brunson trade is actually even worse. Or the not trade, just letting him walk in free agency is even worse. All right, we've got Vivid Sid 94 in. Thank you, sir. Welcome to you, Sid. I appreciate it. I'm a CP fan, debated you previously, and loved the 2018 Rockets, but it seems like in general, CP's playoff, quote, woes are way overshadowed by Harden's. Yes, I know you're a big CP fan. Gary was helping you out, I believe, in that regard. Somehow, Russell Westbrook got intrinsically wrapped up into that debate, and that was one of our long fight night kind of streams. And I don't think Chris Paul is a playoff choker at all. Vivid said. I think there are excuses and then there are reasons for failures at times. And Chris Paul has primarily a lot of reasons, a lot of just unlucky moments, injuries, ill-timed injuries. So look, he ultimately played 19 years, and he never won a single NBA championship, which ultimately is going to negatively and adversely impact your all-time resume. It just is. Those are the deal. That's the deal, unfortunately. Those are the breaks of the game. And like, even if he got one, it would have changed everything substantially, in my opinion, for him. He didn't even get one. But with that said, he's never the reason why they're losing, or he's never vanishing or disappearing other than injuries or something like that. So he's not even in the same stratosphere as little game James Harden or LeBron James for that matter. So no, while I may have pushed back a little bit on you and Gary on Chris Paul the last time we spoke, I certainly do not have CP3 in the same realm of gaggers and all-time choke artists as the two James boys, LeBron James and James Harden. GGT 9993 is up next. Gary, this is actually a question for you, so I'll read it. I'll read it to you. Gary, would you trade De'Aaron Carter? De'Aaron Fox is the question. Okay, De'Aaron Fox. Would you trade De'Aaron Fox, Carter Bryant, and 2 first-round picks for Evan Mobley in the offseason if you were the GM? Interesting. Gary,
I know Mobley's.
He's not having a technical difficulty. He's mulling this over. Go ahead, Gary.
I know Mobley's good. I just don't want to let go of Carter Bryant. I could let go of Fox only because Fox is older, and I really want to try to keep our team as young as possible. But obviously not just young guys, but mature young guys, which is what we have. I just really don't want to break up that chemistry. But Evan Mobley would be a great addition. I like him, but I know this sounds crazy. I love the Michigan guy, Morez Johnson Jr. I think he's the last piece to our puzzle. I hope we get him. There's speculation that he may get chosen before 20, which is where he's projected to go to us at 20. I'm afraid OKC is going to try to steal him from us because I really think Morez Johnson Jr. is going to be the perfect power forward going forward with us. He just won a championship with Michigan. We know Stephon Castle won back-to-back championships. We know how competitive Wemby is. Carter Bryant is coachable and just plays hard-nosed defense. I think he's got potential to be a top 5 NBA defender every year alongside Wemby and Castle. And I just don't want to part ways with Carter Bryant if possible. But, I mean, Evan Mobley's pretty young himself. He's only 24.
Yeah, Gary, look, I don't want to argue, and I won't argue with you. 1, it's your question. 2, it's your Spurs. 3, you were absolutely right on pushing back against me and the entire chat against you in the Giannis talks and saying that you don't want to trade, these young assets like Stephon Castle, and that is absolutely the right call. So I'm not gonna argue with you. All I'm gonna say is you've been saying how they need like a 4, a really an elite stretch 4 to kind of complete this build out. Evan Mobley has averaged 18 points per game and 9 rebounds per game the last 2 seasons. He was second team All-NBA last year, first team All-NBA defensive player of the year. So you would have the last 2 defensive players of the year at the 4-5 if you brought Mobley in. I'm just saying that is tantalizing. I would have to at least think about that, Gary. Go ahead.
Well, that's exactly why I was thinking about it for so long before I responded, because I wouldn't be totally against it. I just don't want to give Carter Bryant away. What I really want, I want for us to construct this roster as much as we can through the draft, because then if Mobley joins and they get good, then it's like, yeah, well, they had to sign Mobley to join. I'd love to see them do this organically, strictly through the draft. I know they signed De'Aaron Fox for basically nothing. That was a steal of a trade we got, by the way. But the thing is, because he's older, he's going to be filtered out. He's not going to be like the long-term plan. He's here for now, and he's a great help for now. Great mentor to Dylan and to Carter, but especially to Dylan. Dylan said, I'm ready. When they told him before tip-off, I'm ready. Because Aaron's been mentoring him all year. So, yeah, I really would love to build organically. But if they did do that, I mean, I wouldn't be mad. Evan would be a great fit. I just would prefer to keep it as organic as possible.
Fair. And why not? Because they're doing it all right. They're getting all the right picks. They're making all the right decisions. We've got Dommy P12 back in. What's up, Dommy? I agree that Mitchell should have demanded the ball in overtime. We all know Kobe is demanding that ball and changing the trajectory of that game. Bingo, Dommy. That's why, look, I put some of the blame pie. There could be equal 3. If you got the blame pie, the little circle of it, it could be like a little peace sign of like equal parts distribution of blame. Kenny Atkinson, James Harden, and Donovan Mitchell for why Mitchell wasn't getting more looks in down the stretch in the 4th and in overtime, because a true alpha and a leader and a guy with that kind of usage, that kind of scoring capabilities is going and seeking the ball out and getting it, especially when you see it slipping away like that and all of your other teammates flopping and choking around you. Like you go, like sometimes, look, sports, I'm telling you, like we had this conversation about Donovan Mitchell in the last time we argued about him. Like your legacies and the way you're looked at, the perception, everything, the way you're remembered, like it can all be affected in a split second, in the blink of an eye. Like everything in not just sports, in life. Like sometimes everything that you're about, like your everything, your path, your trajectory in life, like it all comes down to a collection of fleeting moments and little individual decisions and paths that you decide to go down or not. Like it's just so in sports, in this game, it could have been one basket. like as it was all slipping away and going the wrong way for Cleveland in that 7.5-minute stretch in the fourth quarter, maybe it was just one moment, one 24-second bit of time where Donovan Mitchell goes and gets that ball and gets a tough basket and stops the run, and they win this game, and it's 1-0 Cavs. Like it all comes down to just these brief fleeting moments in time, and you got to capitalize and seize the moment in sports. That's what it's all about, to be a big game performer. And Donovan Mitchell, he had an opportunity tonight and he didn't take it. So ultimately, I don't think, like I said, it's going to be his fault when they lose the series, but maybe they could have upset the Knicks. Maybe they could have stolen this series. Maybe it could have started tonight with them getting this game won in the Garden to take the 1-0 lead, but it just did not go that way. And everybody with the Cavaliers has to wear that now moving forward, probably forever. This is a game that these players that were involved tonight will never forget. Probably the team, the Knicks and the Cavs will never forget. Stump 4522 is in next, or I should say again, NY Knicks do not give a max contract to brick Mitchell Robinson this offseason. He was bricking all them free throws. Let me see. I want to see what the books look like for the Knicks. Let's see here. Next year, they've got a robust $205 million on the cap already. So just to put that in perspective, I think the cap this year is like 156 or 163. They were already at 207 this year. So already flirting with those apron levels in the luxury tax range already. And next year they already on the books have 205, not counting Mitchell Robinson, who is only making $13 million right now. Mitchell Robinson, who is 27 years old and averaged 5.5 points per game this year. He was 8th in Sixth Man of the Year voting, 7.5 point per game career average. Do not fear, Stump. Don't worry about it. He ain't going to sniff a max contract. I mean, he's a nice little player, maybe like what he's making now, 13 to 15 mil or something like that, I think, moving forward somewhere else. But yeah, it would not surprise me to see him not back with the Knicks. So don't worry about that. All right, Cuse mode is in. We were talking Mount Rushmore for his New York Knickerbockers, and I think I agree with this Mount Rushmore. Clyde Frazier, Patrick Ewing, Willis Reed, and Jalen Brunson. All right, I think I agree with that Mount Rushmore. And you would know better than me. Look, Cuse mode, I would not argue or push back with you, Jimbo, because you are the Knicks authority. You are the Knicks fan. But I'm going to go ahead and agree with this one. And Brunson, look, if Brunson gets the chip this year, which is, of course, still a huge long shot, I think he might be the Knick GOAT, possibly, or at least in the mix. He'd be top 2 in my estimation. Okay, we've got Soon Mean, I believe. Does that sound right to you, Gary? Do you think I slaughtered that, or does that sound right? Soon Mean. All right, Gary thinks yes. If I messed it up, I'm very sorry. Thank you very much for your kind donation. Oh, and coming from Seoul, wow. I love to hear this. Like I say every night when I hear of some remote region very far away from where I'm coming out of. I live in the U.S. and I live in Florida. So there is, as I always say, a great international feel and appeal for the Skap Live After Dark and these live shows. And we draw people from all over the world. And I love to hear where all of you guys are coming from. So shout out to Soon Mean in Seoul. Thank you so much for being here, really. And they say, big fan, love your honesty. My absolute pleasure. I'm just so thankful to be able to do this as much and spend as much time on this as I do. And the reason that I can and I'm afforded that ability is because of all of you guys and your very kind support and generosity with just your time and your engagement. Honestly, means the absolute world for me. Whenever I put a video out and you guys click and watch that video and like the video and comment on the video, that's all I could ask for from you. And I really do. I'm just so thankful that you continue to do it now 3 years later that you guys actually care what I have to say. DGang1498, speaking of support, I thought DGang said they couldn't even be on tonight, and yet another super chat from them. Gary, go ahead. I'll turn this one over to you.
Nick Wrong said Bron's 48 versus Detroit made him feel the same way Wemby did last night. Also said that's why he never thought Kobe was the best. But the thing they're not talking about with Bron's 48, didn't he score? I can look it up to verify unless you know. Didn't he score like 29 straight points in the fourth quarter or something crazy like that? That's what really made that 48 stand out more so than the 48 was how many consecutive points he scored.
He had 48 in that game. He had 25 consecutive to end the game. There's been a lot of talk about LeBron James today, and I would actually, despite the fact that I am a huge, really a proponent against LeBron James, I will say he's 22 years old in that performance, and he is one of the youngest, best players we've ever seen. Like, not the best player, because Kobe was the best player in the NBA when he had that 48 special. And Kobe was decisively the best player in the NBA. Like, it wasn't close. But LeBron was maybe arguably the second best player already then at 22 when he dropped that 48 special in the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe Game 5 against the Detroit Pistons. So, like, when I thought about it after that game last night, and I thought about it today when I was making a video, and I put a video up about it today, I would say Magic Johnson in his age 20 rookie season winning Finals MVP, Jordan at age 21 in his rookie season averaging 28 points per game, second leading scorer in the NBA. Tim Duncan at 22. People don't even remember or think about what he did. 22 years old, his second year in the NBA, first team All-NBA, first team All-NBA defense, MVP 3, DPOY 5, NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP in his second year in his age 22. Now, he was 23 when they won the championship that year, but he 22 to start the year. So, like, those guys, to me, now Victor Wembanyama, are like the youngest dudes to be like in the mix as best player, and Kobe. Like, the thing that annoys me the most about this 48 special talk about LeBron, Kobe had a 48 special in the 2001 NBA playoffs. The Lakers, the best team ever in my estimation. Kobe and Shaq, the best two players on the planet in my estimation. And Kobe really announced his presence in Game 4 of the Sacramento series in the semifinal round. The Lakers were up 3-0. They were on the road in Arco, and Kobe had 48 points and 16 rebounds. His game score in that game, 43.2. LeBron's game score in his 48 special, 38.1. Better game for Kobe in that road game in Arco. And the Lakers were down at the end of 3. Kobe had 15 points in the fourth quarter on 5 of 8 to rip that game and rip that series and end the Kings in 4. And that was the game afterwards that prompted Shaquille O'Neal to say, when interviewed on the floor, Kobe Bryant is the best player in the world. Kobe Bryant was 22 years old, 8 months, and 20 days old when he put that performance down. Then in the very next game that they played, Game 1 on the road in San Antonio against the defending champions, the better team, or the champions that won the year before the Lakers won, and the number 1 seed in the NBA playoffs that year, the San Antonio Spurs. Kobe dropped 45 on the road in back-to-back games in ridiculously hostile playoff settings at the age of 22. So, and to me, Kobe became the best player in the NBA at that point, in my opinion. So the fact that everyone's talking about this LeBron 48 special and just glossing right over Kobe annoys the ever-loving hell out of me. But I'm not going to – Nick Wright is an idiot. But I'm not going to rip him too bad for this take, DJing, because I do see where he's coming from in that regard. Because LeBron at 22 at that point, that really was an elite performance. And it really was an announcement that he is in the mix of like the second or third best player in the world out after Kobe. And at 22, that was quite a statement for LeBron to make. And LeBron, look, was Gary saying 3, I think. Well, he was the third best player.
Duncan was 2. Duncan was 2.
Yeah, fair. But LeBron, that was an elite commentary. And LeBron, I didn't have that big of a problem with LeBron at that point. Like it was the things that LeBron did after that point that really ruined his legacy and his career, in my estimation. Okay, next we've got Esun Mean back in there's 5. That last one, they had 1 of 5. So coming from Seoul with 5 different things. The last one was just a big fan. I love the honesty. This one is people say you're a hater. You're just a pro truth and anti lies. Exactly, Esun. And I'm going to see if I could find all of Esun means. We'll just do all 5 of them together. But let me read them all and then I'll respond. Okay, I found the next one, 3 of 5. Plus minus is a good stat. People say too big brain, much math. Math in what? Can you help me with that, Gary? I'm not sure.
Intangibles. Okay. When was the last time chest pounding, swag, ego dancing, and telling jokes won a pro game? Wins come from points.
Also very true. I want to get all 5 of these. 4 out of 5. Great new Kobe vid. I have questions about it. Okay. And then here is the 5th one with the questions. Probably, do the people pushing NBA narratives and agendas, MVP, GOAT debate, etc., also do it elsewhere? COVID, government culture, etc., team owner behavior. So this again, Soon Mean coming from Seoul. Again, thank you so much for coming, for watching from there, and shout out to you in Seoul. And to your point, yes, I think there is a lot at least in this country, I think, and I'm sure all over the world, of narrative construction and narrative building and pushing agendas. Unfortunately, it happens in the media, the mass media in general, that cover current events, politics, etc. Like you have to truly look in to things yourself. Like you can't trust anything you hear anywhere, not on social media for sure, and not even on, major mass media outlets. I myself attack only the sports side of things by and large, like the bigger sports networks and personalities. But it is certainly a pervasive issue and problem across all of the media platforms that cover topics in and around the world far more important than sports. So I think there is an absolute media agenda that they push, and that power brokers around the world and the people, the rich and the powerful with the money, are driving these agendas and creating these narratives. And the mouthpieces for them are just all of these major news outlets and different, major mass media personalities. So it's not a new or specific thing only to sports, Mean. It happens everywhere. And like, I try to adjust and check the narratives and the biases that we see in sports. You see a lot of these independent creators and personalities on this platform and others that are doing the same thing in other walks and in other angles of news and so forth. So that's why you see, I think the popularity and the power of people and independent voices on YouTube growing more and more. And to your point about Kobe specifically, it has been a lifelong pursuit by some of these media personalities. It certainly has been a coordinated 20 plus year hit job on Kobe's legacy and on his good name, because he should have had as many as 4 league MVPs, in my opinion, and at least 3, a bare minimum of 2. And if he had 2 or 3, then he's in the mix, right? Like, he's in the conversation. Like, no one could reject the fact, with his totality of his resume, the playoff success, the individual scoring outputs and stuff, that he's 4th all time, I believe, in NBA history, 4th all time in playoff history. You give him 3 league MVPs, he's easy Mount Rushmore. But the fact that they froze him out and colluded and jobbed him out of 2 or 3 MVPs, now that he only has 1, it's easy for these fools to spin this garbage trash narrative now 20 years later that, oh, only 1 MVP, never the best player. Yeah, he's not top 10. Like, that was always the goal of these fraudulent media spinsters. So Esoon Mean, thank you very much for your support and for your questions and comments. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in from Seoul. Shout out to you. We've got DGang1498 back in. Did Hacko Robinson give you Kobe Shaq nostalgia? Wow. DGang is really anti Robinson here. 2 of 8 from the free throw line, to your point. That is pretty abysmal, but it ain't Shaq. It ain't hack a Shaq, because look, Shaq shot in some of those playoff games like 30 free throws. Like, I remember Shaq shooting like upper 20s, low 30s in some games. So, and he always says he would, quote, make them when they really mattered, but he certainly missed a hell of a lot more than he made. I think he's a career roughly 50% free throw shooter, both in the regular season and playoffs. One of the reasons why Shaq couldn't be on the floor sometimes in clutch times, and one of the reasons why he couldn't have the ball in his hands a lot of times during clutch times, which is why Kobe was the closer and the guy with the predominant usage at the end of games, the guy that was, finishing those games off, and yet still people say he was carried, even though in addition to being the closer and the main culprit in the fourth quarters, he scored like 1 point less in their finals runs than Shaq, and was like first team All-NBA defense in those runs. But yes, sure, he was carried. Oh, and he led the team in assists all those years. But yes, carried. Kobe was carried, of course. Okay, we did the Esoon Means. We've got Too Many Clamps is in next. Harden for 6th man of the year. Well, Harden did win 6th man of the year once. He's won. Actually, Kobe finished 2nd in 6th man of the year voting one time. I can't imagine there's many people to win league MVP and 6th man of the year in their NBA careers. That's something I would have to look at. It's a stat or something, a factoid that I don't know off the top of my head. But Harden did win 6th man of the year and MVP. Kobe finished 2nd 1 year early in his career for 6th man. I think he could have won it, actually. There was a good case for him to win it. And he won MVP. So he could have joined Harden in that. But yeah, Harden, you could make a case should have had more MVPs than one. But he's obviously the MVP playoff choker for sure. There's no doubt about that. I think Gary has fact-checked this 6-man MVP thing. Go ahead, Gary. You're on mute, Gary.
Okay, I clicked the unmute. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, there's 2 people to win 6th man of the year and MVP. Bill Walton, 6th man of the year, 85-86 for the Celtics, and MVP 77-78 with the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, I should have realized that, because I knew Walton was the 77 MVP, and I did know he won 6th man with the Celtics as well that year. So I should have known that, but still only 2 people ever to do it. So yeah, Kobe could have added to that, but he not only was Kobe getting cheated and robbed out of MVPs, he was also getting cheated and robbed out of 6 mans when he was younger. So just a coordinated a collusion hit job on Kobe's legacy from the very beginning, I feel like. All right, we've got Gary. I know it's Steph. I want to say it's Stefan is the pronunciation, but I'm trying Vasilev. Okay, nice work, Gary. So. Thank you. Stefan or Stefan. I would lean towards Stefan is the pronunciation, but if I'm wrong, correct me in the live chat. So Stefan Vasilev 9318 is in next. Thank you very much, Gary. I'll turn it over to you to read this one for me. But first, just let me say, welcome in from Bulgaria, and thank you so much for tuning in from Bulgaria. Shout out to you, and major shout out again to all of you guys coming from all these different markets around the world. Truly humbling to see all the people coming from outside of the U.S. Thank you, Stefan, and welcome in from Bulgaria. Shout out to you, Gary. What's the question or comment from him?
I got a quick reply to this right before you jump into it. He says, do you think Brunson and Luka would have developed into a dynasty if they had both stayed with the Mavs. I don't, because I think Luka stumped Brunson's growth. What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I would agree. I think I agree that like Luka, at least his style and usage played a role in muffling Jalen Brunson. But it is odd that then Kyrie and Luka meshed so well and performed so well in that year. We saw them go to the NBA Finals and run through the West. So I don't really know why that is. Why that Brunson and Luka couldn't coalesce better. But yeah, I don't know that Brunson ever would have become Brunson. To Stefan's question, I don't know that Brunson would have ever become Brunson if he was playing in Luka's shadow for his entire career. So I think probably no. Also, as much as I love and respect Brunson, not that good of a defender. Luka, not that good of a defender. It's hard to hide two bad defenders. Like you can hide one, like Steph Curry with the dynastic Golden State Warriors. Not a good defender, but a willing guy. And Luka's a willing guy, but they're not that good. But if they're the only one that's not that good, then you can deal with that. You can work with it. But when you start having 2, 3 porous defenders on one team, very difficult to overcome. And neither of them are all that good defensively. So I don't think it would have been a dynasty, no. Our player 77 is back in. Skap, I was so scared that Harden would walk into the Garden and steal game 1. I am beyond shocked. How did this man choke so hard tonight? What happened? Our player 77, he went to the well. He just did what he's been doing for the better part of whatever, 18 or 19 years since he's been in the NBA, choking his ever-loving ass off. Just like you see Michael Jordan time and time again answer the bell in the clutch in his postseason, illustrious postseason runs. And you just see every time he does it again, big play, big shot down the stretch. How does this guy keep doing it? He's just wired that way, our player. He's built that way. He's made for this. And so too is James Harden in the other way. He's made to dribble poo-poo down his leg when it really matters in the playoffs. And he just did it again tonight, just adding another legendary chapter in his book of choke jobs in the postseason. We've got Adam Francisco is in next. Adam, salute, shout out to you. Can you say, quote, the Cavaliers played like us in the fourth quarter? I certainly can, Adam, because the Cavaliers did play like unadulterated, hot, steamy us in the fourth quarter. Thank you for asking the question, Adam, because it sure does feel good to say, doesn't it? Will N8664 is in next. Got a couple lengthier ones here, Gary. I'll turn these over for you to you for the next couple ones. Will, thank you for your generous and kind donation. Gary, go ahead and read this one for me.
SGA Wemby MVP situation reminds me of when Malone won the MVP and got presented a trophy before game 1 of Bulls versus Jazz. Malone looked like he was hesitant, afraid to accept it from David Stern, LOL. Also, David Robinson getting that MVP in front of Hakeem in the 95 playoffs. Same scenario, yeah.
And while Barkley didn't crap himself in the 93 finals, Barkley played a hell of a series. But that stuck Jordan because Barkley got what Jordan thought was his league MVP in 93. And then Jordan went on and had, as good as Barkley was in that final, Jordan's finals in 93 is the best finals performance in NBA history, in my opinion. And that the 93 finals run is also, to me, Jordan's greatest finals run. They played loaded teams. Jordan averaged like 35 per game for a finals run, which is the highest scoring average for a title run by anyone in league history in 93. So Jordan really showed that he should have been the MVP in 93 too. And Barkley had his MVP in that Suns Bulls final. So yes, it certainly does. Those things do all kind of remind me of this SGA Wemby situation, Will. And I agree. SGA was looking a little timid and sheepish while he collected that trophy before the game. And then he looked just lousy during the game. And Wemby was phenomenal. So, SGA's got He's got some work to do tomorrow night. He better not come out with that small of a performance tomorrow. Small Town Max is up next. Thank you, Small Town Max, for your generous donation. Gary, go ahead with this one for me.
I've got this, and I'm going to toss up an alley-oop to you in the middle. So here we go. I appreciate you hosting these after the games. Keep up the good work. Every time Harden chucked up a three in the second half, I kept thinking,
Cleveland, this is for you.
Take care.
Thank you, Small Town Max. I love saying that. I love every time I see it or hear it, it makes me chuckle. Like, LeBron is so insufferable and narcissistic. Like, I love his post-game shit. Like that, Cleveland, this is for you. And then the one after the bubble when the Lakers won, when he said, I just want my damn respect. Like, brah, respect is earned. You don't ask for it and get given it. You rip it. You earn it. You take it. But yes, LeBron just with more insufferable shit. And Small Town Max, that's funny. I like that. I'm gonna have to when I recut my James Harden choke system video sometime this summer, or maybe this May, even as recently as maybe after when I'm showing some of these turnovers and bricked shots, I'll just throw Cleveland, this is for you after every one. Thank you for giving me that idea. I appreciate it. All right, Stefan from Bulgaria is back in yet again. Shout out to you, Gary. Gary, go ahead and take this one. And Stefan, thank you so much again for watching from Bulgaria and for your kind and generous donations. Go ahead, Gary.
Brunson and Harden are prime examples of why six men aren't always stars in disguise. One blossomed into a beast, the other never achieved any actual success ever.
Yeah, I mean, Harden did win a league MVP, and he was kind of elite in the middle of his career. But like, yes, he's never achieved anything of note in the postseason. He's never been able to turn all that regular season success into anything of note when the season really matters in the playoffs. But no, to your point, yes. I mean, sometimes look, and Bill Walton did it the other way. He went from MVP to six man. Like we see Harden go from six man and Brunson in a six man role go to elite team leader. So yeah, it can go either way really. But to your point, look, Harden, his individual resume is going to look better than Brunson. But if Brunson continues this playoff rising and these elite performances in the postseason, and if he goes on to win a championship, I think you very easily could see a reality now where you talk about Jalen Brunson over James Harden all time. Because, again, playoffs matter. Results matter. Winning matters. Okay, we've got amazing 78775 in next. Gary, go ahead. I'll let you take this one too.
Hey, Skap, fellow Kobe fan here. Maybe add MJ, Hakeem, Bird, etc. to the background too. Might help newer fans see it as an all NBA champ.
Yes, I've been meaning, first of all, amazing 78775. Shout out to you. Thank you for the support and for being a Kobe fan. And yes, I actually do. That is a Larry Bird. That's a signed Larry Bird plaque with like a card in it. So I do have a Larry Legend thing up there, but I do want to get more stuff. I want to get some Jokic stuff up there. Akeem is one of my all-time favorite players, so him as well. And then Jordan, of course. Those you just named, MJ, Akeem, and Kobe are in my top 5 all-time. Bird is in my top 7. He's 7th, I believe, 6th or 7th on my all-time list. But I think you just named, to me, those are the 4 best peaks in my estimation. Kobe, MJ, Akeem, and Bird, the best peaks. I might throw Jokic's peak in there and maybe probably a Wembanyama peak if he keeps this up moving forward. But I agree, amazing. I've been wanting to do work on my studio and expand things, get a wider shot, back my angle out, get a better mic, a better camera, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to get different people on the wall as well. So that is coming sometime soon. Oh, we got one of my favorites in Darth Cairns, Dylan Brooks, Aura. What's up, my friend? Welcome back into you. I'm glad that I was able to leave work early and now I am watching this live. Well, I'm glad you were able to leave work early too, Darth Cairns. You know I love and respect you. I'm very grateful to have you. And as always, you're a definite regular here, and you are very appreciated. So I'm glad you got off work early too, and it is always a pleasure to have you in here. In fact, I'll just jump down real quick because I just saw this flashed up. Darth Cairns coming in with a very generous donation as well. So let me just piggyback that last one with this one. Again, Darth, thank you so much for your support and your generosity. Gary, what's he have to say on this one?
If Skap had a nephew who had a lot of potential and could easily enter the league when he grows older, would Skap have him enter the league in Spain or Serbia to get some early experience before hitting the NBA league?
I mean, really either place or somewhere in general in Europe. I think it is harder to play over there. And these foreign players are just dominating the NBA right now. And Luka Doncic, who's led the NBA now, I believe, in scoring 2 times in the last 3 years, is on the record in saying it's much harder in Europe to play than it is in the NBA. And scoring is significantly easier in the NBA. So, and I think the skill cultivation overseas is much greater as well. But Darth, I don't know if I would have to send them all the way overseas. I would just beat on them myself. My wife, we do not have kids. My wife always jokes and says, if we do have kids at some point, it has to be a girl. It has to be, because she knows I would be way too hard on a boy, whatever it is that they would choose to do. But specifically in sports, I would just be training the hell out of that kid, probably from a very, I'd be like Denzel in He Got Game when he's training Jesus Shuttlesworth as hard and riding him as hard as he is throughout the early childhood of him. So I don't know if I would have to send them, Darth, all the way over, whether it's a son or a nephew or whatever. I think I would be able to provide all of the toughness that youngin would potentially need. Okay, back to the Incorruptible. Shout out to you, Incorruptible, for yet another generous donation. I appreciate it. How do the Knicks defend the Spurs? Hacker Robinson can't hang with Wemby, but Cat is a solid defender. SAS 7 and NYK 4 players in top 50 D rating. Wow. So yeah, good defensive personnel for both of those teams. Great defensive personnel for the Thunder. No surprise that elite defenses have gotten this far in these playoffs. Look, I don't know how they do it, Incorruptible, but I know this. We've talked about it several times in the last couple days. The Knicks are 3-0 against the San Antonio Spurs this year. They beat them 2 times in their standard 2 matchups that were scheduled. Then they both met. They both played their way through the in-season tournament, and the Knicks beat the Spurs in the in-season tournament too. So 3-0. And yeah, look, Karl Anthony Towns has been crazy elite in these playoffs. I didn't even realize it. Like, you see Jalen Brunson, you give him all the credit, and he deserves a lion's share of the credit. He is the team leader, and he is the go-to scorer. But Karl Anthony Towns is leading the NBA playoffs. If you're just joining us now, Karl Anthony Towns entered tonight's game leading the NBA playoffs in win share, value over replacement, player efficiency rating, and box plus minus. That is crazy. That's basically Nikola Jokic over the last 6 years. His dominance on the regular season. That's what Cat's doing in these playoffs. So mix in Brunson and OG Anunoby. That's an elite team. And they're going to give either team that comes out of the West a handful. Trust me. Even though they will not have home court in either of those series, that's going to be a tough matchup for either the Thunder or the Spurs. And I think we have at least one great matchup in the West. I think now the Knicks might beat the brakes off the Cavs, but then I think we're going to have a great final series too, the Knicks and whoever comes out. Spartan 4196 up in again now. Would Cat have been the difference for the Wolves? Look, I think that trade made sense on a number of levels for both teams. it wasn't just Julius Randle for Cat either. Dante DiVincenzo, who is the starting point guard, who unfortunately ruptured his Achilles in these playoffs and wasn't available for the last series against the Spurs, he has been a very good piece as well. So you got to look at it as a starting point and starting power forward came over for Cat. And I think the Wolves had maximized their potential with Karl Anthony Towns. And look, the Knicks needed to go in a different direction, obviously, from, I think Stefan just emailed me actually, from Bulgaria. So I will look into that email later tonight or when I'm in my travels to Gotham City tomorrow. Stefan, you have my word on that. But yeah, I think Cat fits great in New York, fits that roster great. I think it was a trade that made sense for both teams at the time. There's no doubt that the Knicks roster overall is much better and much more built for playoff success and in the easier conference as well. That helps. So look, the Timberwolves, as they exist now, it's over for them. Like, I think that it's time. They, like the Nuggets, are at a crossroads, and they've been passed by the two big dogs in the West, the San Antonio Spurs, of course, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's time for those teams to look inside of themselves and to make some difficult changes and difficult decisions, I think, this offseason, and perhaps maybe with each other. Gary proposed this trade the other night. Jaden McDaniels and who was the second player?
Naz Reid.
Naz Reid, yeah, right. So Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid for Jamal Murray. Makes a lot of sense for both teams. Fills a lot of needs for both teams. So maybe, I know these teams hate each other and there's no love lost, but maybe they work together and they pull off a trade like that. And I think it makes them both a good deal better. Okay, go ahead, Gary.
I had to fact check you real quick.
Oh, okay.
The Spurs did beat the Knicks December 31st this year by 2 points.
Okay. So they were 2-1 then.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Gary. I don't know
why.
And
got their asses demolished the last game. 25-point blowout by the Knicks. Routed them the last time.
Okay, so did it go, the Knicks beat them first in the Cup Finals, then the Spurs beat them, then the Knicks blew them out then? Okay. Yeah. I don't know why I had in my mind that they were 3-0. I checked it, but I must have looked at it wrong. So thank you, Gary, for fact-checking that for me. I appreciate it. Okay, we've got, oh my goodness, Doc 50 Holiday in next. A Doc Holiday handle. One of my favorite cinematic characters of all time, who of course is a real life character, by the way, but as he was portrayed in the movie Tombstone by the late, great, R.I.P., the legendary Val Kilmer. One of my favorite performances ever. Tombstone is like a top 20 favorite movie of mine. I watch it every time it's on. Love that film. Love Val Kilmer's performance. Doc 50 Holiday, great handle. Welcome into you, my friend, and thank you for your very generous donation. Go ahead, Gary.
Yo, appreciate you standing up for Kobe. Feel like you stood up for a big generation that was neglected. As an MJ and Kobe fan, I shy away from SGA and love Wemby and rooting for him to make history. You?
Ditto, Doc 50 Holiday, ditto. And Doc, this is why, this is why I call BS on people that are like, oh, well, I loved Kobe, but I also love LeBron. Like, I just love greatness. Bullshit. Like, if you were a Kobe dude, you hate LeBron. I'm sorry. Like, you just do, because LeBron is the antithesis of Kobe. Kobe, with the Mamba mentality, the guy that maximizes his own talent and goes through all of the challenges, all of the hardships, doesn't run away, doesn't hide, just like Michael. Then you have LeBron, who runs and hides and sidesteps all of the difficult hurdles and obstacles and challenges, cheats himself, cheats the game, takes the easy way out. He is the antithesis of Kobe Bryant. So you can't stand that dude if you were a Kobe guy. And quite frankly, if you were a Jordan guy, like I was, you were obviously had a gravitational pull to Kobe Bryant because they're cut from the same cloth. They're the same guy mentality-wise. And so is Victor Wembanyama. That's why you like that dude too. And that's why I do as well. Like when you see not only greatness, but you see that chip on the shoulder, that competitiveness, that alpha mentality, that willingness to compete on both sides of the ball. It's not, you just feel it. It's just a feeling that you have when you're watching it and you understand. It's just an aura, like a persona that they exude. It's something that they're built with, born with. Like it's not something that you can cultivate or build in the gym. So Victor Wembanyama now is picking up in that same pathway now that we saw Jordan first and then Kobe. Now it's Vic. So yes, I am rooting for Vic too. And SGA, look, while he does have some things that you like, he plays both ends when he's needed to. He's clutch. He's in the same kind of body type as Jordan and Kobe. Ultimately, to me, SGA is a very far distance away from Kobe and Mike. And therefore, any bit of success that Shea experiences at this point, any accolade he gets that he doesn't deserve, like 2 MVPs, he's getting closer to getting in that conversation that he doesn't belong in. So for that reason, I am rooting against SGA. And it just so happens this dude, Wemby, with that alpha dog mentality that I just talked about, is going to be the main foil that is going to represent the impediment to SGA getting closer to Kobe and Jordan. So for all those reasons, yes, Doc, I am with you 100%. And as I always say, you never have to thank me for sticking up for Kobe or MJ. MJ, I don't think needs my defense or support as much as Kobe, because people still, by and large, give MJ the respect that he deserves. Kobe is a completely different story, though. The disrespect and slander that is on this guy's name after he passed is disgusting to me. It is my pleasure and my honor and privilege to go to bat and defend the Black Mamba. All right, we got Darth Cairns is up next. Or I should say again, welcome back in, my friend. If Skap was a head coach in the NBA, what type of playing style would he want his team to play? Interesting question. I would have a defensively oriented team for sure. I would want defensive type pieces with one like kind of ISO, or maybe not necessarily ISO in today's day and age, but one like dynamic offensive floor riser that like the whole team kind of gravitates around like the sun. But other than that, primarily all defensive pieces. And I would want that one guy leading my offensive unit to also be a two-way player. Ideally, that's what kind of team I would have, because I like the gritty competition and I like guys that play hard on both sides of the rock. Obviously, my all-time list is littered with elite two-way players. So I would not be a flashy three-point shooting team or an outscore them kind of team. I would just want to demoralize and dishearten the team with a steady and consistent flow of defensive effort and energy. That's kind of what kind of coach I think I would be.
Like the Timberwolves, basically.
Timberwolves, or even, I mean, the Thunder or the Spurs even. Like or the Spurs, not great necessarily without Wemby yet defensively, but they have the pieces and the potential. I mean, look, I think Stephon Castle does some really good things defensively. And last night, Harper was incredible, I thought, defensively. I looked at the advanced analytics after the game this morning, Gary. I didn't see him last night before we came on live. Wemby had the best defensive rating on the floor for either team other than Harper. Wemby was a 98 defensive rating per 100 possessions, which is crazy low. And then Harper was 89. He had the best one. So those two guys were just on another level defensively last night. So this is going to be a really good defensive team moving forward for several years to come, anchored, of course, by Victor Wembanyama and his preposterousness. Go ahead, Gary.
And that's what Harper's weakness was coming into the season on the scouting report. He's not a great defender. And now one regular season with the Spurs. Look at now defense is a strength. And Carter Bryant was a strong defender on the scouting report, but offense was a weakness. He's been practicing a shot. Now he's hitting clutch three-point shots. So his offense is, that's what I'm saying. This team has just progressed seasons, plural, within one season. They're progressing so fast, and it's beautiful to watch in real time.
Agreed. Praise the Dawn is in next. Oh, I hate to read this one. This one that's making fun of Nick Wright. Gary, go ahead. I'll let you read it since I hate to disrespect hatchet nose Nick Wright. Go ahead, Gary.
So surprised hatchet nose Nick Wright hasn't got swung on yet. Him and mushmouth Shannon Sharp, who wants to take the role of Savannah J.
Yikes. Those two are the principal and most pathetic LeBron jock sniffers and bootlickers on the Clutch payroll that I've seen with the biggest platforms. Shannon has an immense platform with Club Shay Shay or whatever on YouTube. I don't know. He's probably got over 1 million subscribers or more, maybe like 2 or 3 million. And then Nick Wright, while he only has maybe he has like 1 million or something. I don't know exactly. They both have big platforms. I thought he's only in the hundreds of thousands on YouTube, but he's the main guy on Fox Sports. So yes, they are riding the Clutch paychecks right now and making it rain Clutch bills, y'all. So it's disgusting and distasteful to see. And those are two guys that both had Kobe second all time behind Jordan at one point in their lives, like within the last 10-ish years. But since cashing the Clutch money, they now have Kobe like whatever, 8th, 11th, somewhere, whatever, like very low in the top 10 or out of the top 10. So yeah, it's pretty disgusting, praise the Dawn, but I'm going to keep calling them out because that's what I do. No, all sides of the argument is in next. What's up? Thank you so much for being here. Skap, did you know only 3 Eastern Conference #1 seeds made the finals since 2009? Talk about cursed seeding. Wow. I did not know that off the top of my head, but that is crazy if true. Typically, I would check this. I don't mind talking about it on a live stream. Before I would put this in a video or something, I would fact check this, but I'll take your word for it. 3 #1 seeds since 2009? That is insane to me because basically 1 or 2 seeds win the championship every single year. So the fact that you're saying in 17 years, a 1 seed in the East has only made the NBA Finals 3 times. So 14 out of 17 years, it was something other than the one. That is a crazy fact. No, all sides of the argument. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and screen grab that because I want to remember to look that up because that is such a crazy factoid that I want to look into that. Okay, I will. Thank you for that. Thank you for your generous donation and thank you for that. Great. You know how I love crazy stats or factoids. All right, Stephen is back in yet again. Thank you so much. Skap, after the live chat, feel free to dig back through some of your emails. I sent you some channel inspired t-shirt designs a while back. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Look, I do get inundated sometimes with emails and I kind of lose track of my inbox from time to time. I know people have emailed me before and I've missed some of them. I apologize if you're out there and I did not respond to an email. I try to answer all of my emails. And whenever I get some downtime in like June, I will go through and look at some emails. But Stefan, I did see you email me. I mentioned that I saw it come through here. So when I'm traveling tomorrow, I'll check out your email specifically. And I will, like I said, go through the last couple months and see if I missed any emails from you guys and try to respond to those because I do make it a point to try to do it because I appreciate your guys' support so much. And then if you take the time to reach out and email me, like that's how Gary and I got connected. Gary just emailed me, like he saw my channel, came upon my channel, found my email address, reached out to me via email one day, and I responded to his email and we started talking. And now, you know, he's moderator Gary for me. And we've been collaborating together for like the better part of 2 years now. So, you know, I do try to, and then there's I want to give him a shout out here as well. The Soul Blend, who sent me some terrific t-shirts. I showcased them in a video. He sent me 5 t-shirts about a month ago, and I gave him a shout out and showcased some of his tees. I almost had one on tonight. I'm sad I don't. But I gave him a big shout out on one of my videos a few videos ago about Kobe. He's a big Kobe supporter. He does shoes, t-shirts. His designs are excellent. It's at Soulblend on Instagram, and it's the email or the website is www.soulblend.com. I'm reading it off this card that he sent me with my care package. So I just want to he just sent me a random email one day asking if he could send me a t-shirt. So then I said, please do. I'll give you a shout out. He sent me 5 t-shirts graciously, and they were great. And then I just had a call with him today, and we're going to maybe work together in some capacity as well moving forward. So I do try to answer these emails, and I do appreciate you guys taking the time to email me. All right, Too Many Clamps 130 is in next. Man, I remember a decade ago when super teams big threes were the thing. Seems archaic now. Do you think that could work now? And who would be your big three? Honestly, no, I don't think it's a thing now. It's more about depth and defense and 1 through 10 now at this point. Like, it's better to have an elite one, a good all-star caliber 2, and then just a really good deep team with like 8, 9, 10 dudes that can all contribute and play interchangeably to some degree. Kind of like what the Spurs are trying to build, kind of like what the Thunder do have already. So I don't even think a big three can work anymore. I certainly wouldn't want to try it. If I would, or if I could, I don't know, maybe maybe Luka and Nikola Jokic on one. I think that would just be fun and enjoyable to see. 2 guys with that kind of basketball IQ and offensive floor rising capabilities try to figure it out and work together. It would have to be those 2 and some elite defender kind of player as your other, quote, big 3. So I don't know, like Asar Thompson wouldn't be like a big 3 guy yet because he averaged like 9 points per game. I don't know, maybe like Amen Thompson, because I think he's kind of a star and he's an elite defender. I don't know, one of the Thompson boys, Jokic, Luka, and then all defense around them. Like guys that I don't even care if they could score 5 points, but if they're elite defenders, put them all around. That's probably the direction I would go if I try to do a big 3. Though you probably mean what, like Hall of Fame, perennial all-star big 3, at which point, I don't know. I mean, maybe just for shits and giggles, go with Giannis. Just throw it in there. Giannis and Jokic, the 2 guys who I think have been the best players in the NBA for the last 6 years before Victor Wembanyama looks like he's ripped it. And I'm not going to take Wemby off as a big 3 because he's already on his team with his supporting cast. So I'm going in a different direction from him. So maybe just Giannis, Jokic, and Luka, and see what those 3 can do together for, a couple years of a run. I don't think that we can make that happen, but go ahead, Gary.
In 3 years, the Spurs may have a big 3 in Harper, Castle, and Wemby. That may actually be an organic big 3. If you're going to do a big 3, that is how you do it. Just like,
look, that big 3 is probably going to be better, Gary, but just like Chet and Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a big 3. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander last year was first team All-NBA. Jalen Williams was third team All-NBA. And this year, I think Chet will be All-NBA. And he's definitely going to be All-NBA defense, and he's second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. So you've got 3 All-NBA caliber players on that team with an elite number 1 guy, just like the Spurs are going to have in a few years. Probably 3 All-NBA caliber players with an elite number 1 guy. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
Alex Caruso needs some more help in OKC. They need to help him out.
After game 1, you could certainly say that. All right, we've got Wolfsbane, yet another regular. Welcome in, Wolfsbane. Hey, Skap, Cavs choked again. Typical. Got a Hawks question. Should we keep Jonathan Kuminga? I think so, as he proved himself and is a great veteran. I agree. I like the Kuminga move. I think he fit well. I like I've been saying, I like your Hawks. They need a big. They need like a legit center. Other than that, I would stay the course with what roster you have. Like they have a competitive, good team already. They ran into a Knicks buzzsaw that looks like, again, they're a team of destiny and they're going to the finals. But other than that, I like the Knicks. They're a young team other than CJ McCollum, who I think they absolutely should retain. He's on an expiring contract this year, and he was a star in the playoffs for them and really in the second half of the year. So they got to keep him, and I would keep Kuminga too. It's going to take a decent amount of money because he's been wanting a payday for years and wanting more of a role that the Golden State Warriors weren't able to give him or didn't want to give him. So, I think I would keep him. I think he's found a home moving forward in Atlanta. So, yes, Wolfsman, I like the future is bright for your Hawks. All right, Vinsanity the Great is up next. Oh, with a Nuggets question. While the Nuggets are out, Kroenke's other team in Arsenal just won the Premier League title, and the Avalanche look to win another Stanley Cup. Yeah, it pretty much pisses me off. I'll be honest with you. Like he's flushed. Actually, his spawn, his nepotism son, Josh Kroenke, actually is the one that really has derailed my Nuggets and Nikola Jokic's prime, destroyed his prime essentially, and essentially ruined his career. A guy that should have been unequivocally a top 10 lock all time probably ain't going to sniff that because he's not going to sniff a second championship, unfortunately. But yes, Stan Kroenke. Yes, Arsenal just won, I believe, the Premier League title for the first time since 2004 today. So shout out to them. I was a sophomore in college, I think, the last time they won that. So it's been a long damn time is what I'm saying. And yes, the Avalanche also in the same market as the Nuggets, even more embarrassingly for my Nuggets, are looking very strong right now in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So thanks, Vinsanity the Great. Thanks for rubbing that in and adding insult to injury. Spartan 4196, welcome back again to you now. Which is the worst post-finals quote? Cleveland, this is for you. Or anything is possible. Both original and Tatum. That's a good question. The original, while I hated the original by KG, because it was after they beat Kobe by 37 points in an elimination game in Boston Garden. So that one, I hated it specifically because it was at Kobe's expense, but at least it was kind of an awesome moment and organic. The Tatum one was just so cringy and like rehearsed and stolen from KG that that one is certainly in the running. But I think the Cleveland, this is for you. Well, he was crying and then 2 weeks later said that one made me the GOAT. I think Cleveland, this is for you would be the worst post-finals quote. Great question though, Spartan. Next in, we've got GGT9993 in. I'm going to read this one for Gary because I think it might be to Gary. Gary, I'm back again. Trey Murphy and Herb Jones for Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and 2 first-round picks. Trey Murphy is a two-way wing on a great contract. Gary, what say you to this next Spurs trade proposition?
I have said Trey Murphy would be a great stretch four for us. I was really pushing for them to try to acquire him before the trade deadline this year. Why? Because I was hoping maybe they would do with Trey Murphy at stretch four, that they'd make a playoff run like they're already making without him. Like I said, this team has grown significantly in just one through not just from the beginning to the end, in which they have from the beginning to the end, but throughout the season multiple times. Because you remember the first half of the season, I was like, I'm tired of hearing about how good they are when they have all these lapses all the time. And they haven't eliminated the lapses, but when they still have lapses most games, but they stop the bleeding quickly. Whereas before, they would have lapses for a quarter, sometimes 2 full quarters where they would get outscored by 20 to 30 points. They're not doing that. Not very often. They did against the Knicks, as we saw a couple months ago, and they lost by 25. And I think they did it one other time since then, but they are doing so much better. At this point, Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson and Jeremy Sohan were the core with Wemby when Wemby got drafted there. Obviously, they were not very good. But now that we built a core with Harper, Fox, and Castle, Vassell and Keldon have been reduced to role players, and they're working so damn well now. Vassell, he's very inconsistent. To your point, you said last night, he's overpaid. I agree. I hope they re-sign Vassell, but at a lower cost. If he wants to make that much money again, we're going to have to part ways because we're going to have to pay Castle and Harper, obviously Wemby, in the future. So if guys will take pay cuts, I'm thinking they may, because I think they love the team, the city, and playing with Wemby. It's such a great experience. I'm saying I kind of want to just roll with the team we have and just build in this upcoming draft. I might want to trade some picks to possibly move up in the draft, but I'm thinking Morez Johnson's the answer for us. The more I think about it.
Well, Gary,
I love Vassell as a role player, and he may be inconsistent, but someone on that team always comes through. Champagnie, Vassell, one of them may have a terrible game, but the other one always comes through in the clutch, one way or another. Somebody always comes through. They just have such a great synergy right now.
Gary, what if I were to tell you that right now, De'Aaron Fox is the highest paid player on this team, and then Devin Vassell at $27 million per is the second highest paid player.
Yeah, I know that. Yep.
So that's obviously going to change. They've got to pay. They're going to pay Victor Wembanyama this summer for sure. They're probably going to pay Stephon Castle, if not this summer, next. And then Dylan Harper's still years out. They've got Dylan Harper on the books already till 2029 at like 14-ish million per year. So they got a lot of guys, obviously, because they're so young. They've got a lot of guys on young rookie contracts. They've got Vassell contracted for the next 3 years after this year at like 27 million per. So they're either going to have to trade that to get it off the books, or they're just going to have to work around that contract, unfortunately, moving forward.
Yeah. I would love Trey Murphy, but I just think at this point we've got something solidified, and I would love to, and I think this would be a great topic for us to talk about, but we kind of need to move on from this right now from this stream. But that's a very interesting topic to explore when we have more time later on. Thank you for that question, Gigi.
Next in, Sully. Shout out to you. Big fan of the show, big supporter, big friend to the show. Thank you, Sully. Has been here for like the whole time alongside here with me. Sully says successfully. Oh, go ahead, Gary. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me get this. He's got a proposition for you, so I need to read it to you.
Okay.
Successfully predict the finals. Teams, winner, how many games, and I will donate a new copy of my favorite studio microphone. You know what, Jay? You need to link up with Sully because he can help you learn the electronic and technology equipment, because that's what his channel is about. So you got another guy right here who can help you with a lot of things.
Also, Gary, Sully, I'm pretty sure it's Sully. I'm 99.999%
yes.
sure. Sully and I have been talking offline about some other. Wait, maybe it wasn't Sully. Maybe it wasn't. Now I'm waffling. I'm not going to say because I'm not sure. But I know I have email with Sully, but I'm not sure. I think I might be confusing Sully with. Hang on one second. Let me just search my email for one quick minute. It was Sully. Okay, it is Sully, aka Daniel Sullen. Sorry if I wasn't supposed to say your actual name, Sully, but has proposed a cologne pitch to me. I was almost certain that we had emailed on a potential cologne line, which I actually would love to do, Sully. So, but you're on for this one. I'll say Spurs over Knicks in 7. Spurs over Knicks in 7 is going to be my projection. So mark it down. Gary's saying 6. So we'll see. With my official pick, Sully, Spurs in 7 over the Knicks. All right, DGang 1498 back in yet again. Welcome in again. Please keep EMTs on standby whenever Artichoke Harden plays. Do you think Nick Wrong actually believes his own takes? Brunson Wemby versus SGA Joker. Now I'm not sure. Is this a Nick Wrong take or just in general asking Brunson Wemby versus SGA Joker? I'm not sure. But to answer your initial query about Nick Wrong, actually, no. I don't think that he does even believe some of his own takes.
That's why he won't debate you.
Right. He's just being paid. I love the drop. As Morgan Freeman once famously said in the movie Hard Rain, starring Christian Slater, we just want the money. Nick Wrong just wants the money. So he's a paid advocate and spokesperson for LeBron James and slanderer of Kobe Bryant due to the clutch dollars that he's been collecting for probably about a decade. And if you're asking me specifically, Brunson Wemby, SGA Joker, I mean, I like the Joker is my favorite player, but I dislike SGA. I think Wemby, look, Nikola Jokic has been the best player in the NBA for 6 years, in my opinion. That time might be coming to an end because it might be Victor Wembanyama moving forward. I don't know if you're asking me like for a 2-on-2. I mean, I don't know. I think I would still take SGA and Joker in a 2-on-2 just because the Joker has gotten the better of Victor Wembanyama throughout their careers, including most recently April 4th when they do go head-to-head against each other. So I still think while Wemby may be the best player moving forward potentially, Nikola Jokic still gives that guy fits head-to-head. And then SGA, with his size, his length over Brunson would be difficult to contend with. So that's my official answer on that. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, we've got a very compelling question here. I feel like you're discrediting SGA like people discredit Kobe because of Shaq. So are you discrediting SGA because he's got so much depth, even though some people would do the same thing with Kobe and Shaq?
I'm discrediting SGA because he doesn't deserve or belong in the same sentence as Kobe. That's why I'm discrediting him. I like SGA. I respect SGA. But even when Kobe had Shaq, Kobe, again, was the closer of that team. He was the best defensive player on that team. He was still scoring, leading the Lakers in scoring in all the fourth quarters. He was only scoring like 1 point less per game than Shaq. And he was the main facilitator and leader of at least in terms of like the assist leader for that team. So Kobe still had a great deal of responsibility on that team. And that team was nothing outside of him and Shaq primarily. Like Derek Fisher was the third option for the second 2 championships. So I feel like Kobe doesn't get enough credit in the Shaq title runs. Then Kobe got rid of Shaq and won 2 of the best rings ever with a really middling, mediocre team. So Kobe proved his merit and his worth. SGA never will. SGA will always have this stacked, loaded-ass team around him in which he doesn't have to defend it always, like the 5th or 6th best defender on his own team. And he gets to be rested basically for every fourth quarter and then just be totally rested and peachy and ready to go for his clutch scoring opportunities. While his stacked, loaded-ass defense is helping him in those clutch pursuits because they're stopping the other team from scoring. Kobe was making those shots in the clutch and defending the best guy on the other end too. Like, I discredit Shea, like I discredit LeBron, like I discredit Lamar Jackson because they're overrated and they don't deserve the ink that they're getting and the press that they have. That's why I discredit Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because he doesn't deserve or belong to be with Kobe Bryant, ultimately. Fake today, real tomorrow comes in next to let me know you realize Kilmer was not nominated for Oscar as Doc. Shaking my damn head. He was also the best Batman. Oh, my goodness. Yes, better than Bale. 2001 Lakers are the third best Laker team after 72 and 87. Lot to unpack here. Most things I don't agree with. I do not think Val Kilmer was the best Batman, though I will say that movie is looked upon, it's regarded worse than it actually was. I think it is better than people give it credit for being. The only Batman that really sucked was Batman and Robin with George Clooney. He was terrible. That movie was terrible. But the Val Kilmer one was actually pretty good. It wasn't as good as 89. It wasn't as good as Returns. It wasn't as good as any of the Nolan ones. It wasn't as good as the Batman with Pattinson. But it was actually not terrible. I kind of do think it's better upon rewatch than it's given credit for. I do know that Val was not nominated for Oscar as Doc Holliday. And I disagree. 2001 Lakers are the best team ever. Not only the best Laker team, in my opinion, the best team of all time. I've
86
gone on.
Celtics?
What's that?
86 Celtics?
The best team ever, Gary.
96 Bulls?
The best team
Bulls?
ever. The best team ever. The team, they would not lose to, they would beat every team in a best of 7 ever in NBA history. The 2001 Lakers. I've made the case several times. I'll make it again real quick right now. That team in 2001 had the second most challenging pathway in NBA history. When you look at their collective SRS of their opponents, it is the second hardest run ever, behind only Akeem Olajuwon's 95 run. And in that run, which was the second hardest in NBA history, they had the second most dominant run ever. Their net differential is the second highest of any team ever outside of the 2017 Golden State Warriors, and their win percentage, 15-1, is the best record of any team in NBA playoff history, tied with that 2017 Warriors team, tied with the 1983 76ers. So you're telling me that a team with the second hardest run had the second most dominant run in it. They lost one game in overtime only to the league MVP, Allen Iverson, on a team that also had the sixth man of the year, the defensive player of the year, and the coach of the year. The Lakers lost one game in overtime to that team. That was it in the whole postseason run. And they ended the regular season that year 8-0. So they were like 24-1 to end the NBA season that year with one overtime loss. The best team ever. They only won like 57 games in the regular season or something because Kobe missed like 30. Derek Fisher missed like 60. But when those guys all got on the floor in the last like month before, the last 3 weeks before the playoffs started and then into the playoffs, best team ever. And why? Because for the only time ever in NBA history, the best two players in their peak were on the same exact team. Never been done before. Never been done before. Never been done after. Like Kareem and Magic, both good, not the two best. Whatever you want to say about Parrish, McHale, Bird, not the two best. LeBron, Wade, not the two best. Durant and Curry, not the two best. Shaq and Kobe, to me, were the two best players in the NBA in 2001 in their peaks. And that's why no one can beat them. You want to present to me the Chicago Bulls maybe in 96. Well, look, Shaq and Penny beat Jordan in 95. Like beat a healthy, primed Michael Jordan who, yes, he only played 17 games in the regular season before that playoff run, but Shaq beat him because the front court couldn't handle Shaq of the Bulls. Now, yes, they got Robinson then, or they got why am I drawing a total blank here? The worm.
Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman. Yes, they got Dennis Rodman the offseason, which helped bolster the front line, which then led to the 72 wins and then the next three-peat. But still, Shaq on Dennis Rodman, no contest in my estimation. And Kobe 01 is neutralizing Jordan to some degree. They're at least offsetting each other. And then Shaq is feasting on the front court of those Bulls. So I just don't see any team in NBA history that's beating peak Kobe and peak Shaq on the same roster with pretty good defensive counterparts on the wings. So that, to me, look, I disagree full-heartedly that the Lakers, the 01 Lakers, were the third best Laker team. To me, they're the best team ever in NBA history. I've made the case in a video, in an in-depth video, and I've presented it multiple times on these live streams. And I did it in the last House of Highlights Clash collaboration I had. I talked about that team. I believe in that debate as well. All right, Domi P12 is back in again with yet another very generous donation. Thank you very much, Domi. Gary, go ahead. I'll turn this one over to you.
I remember when the Suns came back from a 17-point deficit in the fourth in Game 6 against the Lakers in 2010. Kobe scored 9 points in the last 2 minutes to fight off the Suns' rally. Ice cold killer.
Was that the game where he dapped Alvin Gentry up, the head coach of the Phoenix Suns? He hit the knife jumper to basically cement that game. And I think he ran past Alvin Gentry and patted him on the ass when he ran by him. Yes, absolutely ice cold. KB savored that series too, because he thought that Steve Nash stole at least one of his league MVPs, and also was still fuming about that 2006 playoff loss when he was up 3-1 and had 50 in the Game 6 closeout game, only to see his team not be able to get an offensive rebound and end that series. So Kobe really savored that 2010 series for sure against the Phoenix Suns and Steve Nash. Kuzmo Jimbo back in. Can we all agree the Nets don't belong in New York? Yeah, the Nets just need to move. I'm with you. The Nets need to get out of Gotham and just turn the city over to your New York Knicks. I think, yes, we can all agree. Maybe instead of expanding the NBA, they could just move to Seattle or something. And then it's a win-win. They get out of New York and the Seattle, they get their Supersonics back. They can get, because they really do deserve, I think, an NBA franchise. All right, next, DJang in again, DJang1498. Have you ever heard or come across this horrible Kobe take? Quote, if Kobe smiled more, people would rank him higher, like if he were more likable. I mean, Kobe honestly was a very likable guy. That's the real look. Kobe tragically died. I think he was 41 years old, I want to say, which is sick because I'm like older. Like, I grew up, Kobe was like my hero my whole life. Like, from the time I was 11, Kobe was like my hero. He's like 7-ish years older than me, I think. He was born, yes, he's about 7 years older. So like I was like 10 or 11 when he was a senior in high school, or when he got drafted in the NBA. And now I believe I'm older now than he was when he passed away, which is just so sad and tragic. And the fact that there were so many other people on that helicopter, including young children and his daughter, just so sad. But one of the many things of why I think it's even sadder, full stop, with it's already a tragedy in and of its own right. But the fact that I think Kobe might have had a better second chapter. Like, I think he's the second greatest basketball player that's ever lived. And I think he had more to do and would have had a better second chapter in life than his first. So that just stinks. And then the other thing about it is he was coming into his own as a father, a husband, and just a person. He was showing his personality all those years that he kind of concealed what an affable and likable guy he was, and like how big his personality really was, kind of like Tom Brady did for like 15, 17 years at the beginning of his NFL career as the Patriot way. Like these guys, they're just so singularly fixated on winning and building this aura of invincibility around them that they don't want to have any weakness to their opponent, that Kobe just kind of concealed what like a funny, like fun-loving and great personality like he really had. So we were finally getting to see that in the years that he retired. And then 4 years after he retired, he died. It just sucks, honestly. But DJing, in particular for that take, it's a terrible take. I don't think, look, Victor Wembanyama and Michael Jordan didn't smile too much either during their NBA careers. Like Victor Wembanyama, like you see this guy, like he never cracks a smile, basically. Nikola Jokic came up to try to like joke with him after the game when they lost like late in the regular season. And Wembanyama looked absolutely disgusted. Like he wanted no part of talking to Jokic and no part of laughing or joking with him after the game. Like this guy is all business, just like Kobe and just like, just like Kobe and Michael Jordan. But yeah, Kobe was just a ruthless killer when he was playing, and he had that Mamba mentality, and he didn't want to show what a great personality and how, fun-loving and funny he was, really. Unfortunately, we did see that for a limited time before he passed away. Will N 8664 is in yet again. Welcome back to you. Was a bit concerned for OG. Would it be best for the Knicks to have him on limited minutes for the time being until he is fully recovered? Maybe. I mean, the doctors know best. Maybe he is fully recovered. It was only day-to-day. It wasn't a really bad strain, from what I understand, the hamstring strain when he got hurt. I think that he could have come back sooner, but they did slow play him because they were killing the Sixers, so they didn't need him. So I feel like he might be fully healthy right now. It's just that he's so rusty because he hasn't been in game minutes for like 3 or 4 weeks. So I feel like tonight was more about just his rust and trying to work back into the flow of the game speed than it was about his, not being healthy or 100% right now with that hamstring strain. So I ultimately look, you have to trust the doctors. They're not the Nuggets organization. So you would have to put hope in because I wouldn't trust anything about the Nuggets medical staff, but any other team, you just have to trust the health professionals and OG Anunoby, and that they're communicating properly and that he is 100%. And if he is, you just got to let him work his way back up to speed because he was looking fantastic when he got hurt. So he looked pretty bad for most of the game, but at the end in the fourth quarter and in overtime when the rest of the team also picked it up, he looked much better. So I think he will likely be working it back to game speed and game shape here over these next couple games, and he'll be primed and ready for the NBA Finals, which again I think is going to be a tremendous series. All right, next thing we've got Stefan Piscano, great friend to me in the show. Obviously, I have to give him that shout out every time he comes in. Thank you so much for your ongoing support, generosity, kindness, sir, and shout out to Vacation Wealth Partners. Gary, go ahead with this question or comment from him.
LOL, WTF, how are you still up, Skap? Thought I missed this one for sure. Get some sleep, you're making us all look bad. P.S. Excited for the House of Highlights.
Yeah, I've been on like 3 to 4 hours of sleep essentially for like the entire last month plus, essentially since the playoffs started. I'm lucky if I get 5 hours. I've squeezed a couple nights where I'll get like 7 or 8 in on the long stretch of like 8-9 days at like 3 or 4 hours to try to refresh myself. But it's been a tough run on the sleep cycle. But I just have commitments early in the day, and I have my own videos to do, and then I've got you guys that I want to hang out with after the game. So it's just tough. It's tough sledding for me to try to squeeze in sleep. I will have to be up in about 4 hours from now to work my way to the airport to catch my flight to Gotham City for the House of Highlights Clash collaboration that I'll be filming early again on Thursday, which brings me to my next point. I don't know, unfortunately, tragically, if I'm going to be able to be on tomorrow night after game 2 of that mouth-wateringly good series that we have, Spurs and Thunder, in what was an epic game 1. It just kills me, but like the game likely won't end till like 11:30-ish. I don't know, 11:30, midnight, something like that. And I've got an early call time in studio, so I got to be up at 7 for that as well. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to be on with you guys tomorrow. I hope I can figure something out. If not, I will be back on Thursday night to talk about game 2 in this series, and we can unpack what we saw the night before as well if you want to. And then I'm back on schedule. I'll be here for the game 3 of Spurs Thunder on Friday if I can't make it tomorrow. So might have to take a little hiatus tomorrow. I don't know yet. Still up in the air. But you're right, Stefan. I do need to get to sleep tonight. If I go to bed right this second, which I have to decompress a little bit after I get off from talking with you guys for 3-4 hours and having such high energy. But if my head hits the pillow now and I fall asleep immediately, I would get about 4. Then I got to drive to the airport. Maybe I could snooze on the plane a little bit, but I got to do some prep work for my big debate with House of Highlights. Either way, sir, thank you so much for your kind generosity. And I will eventually get some sleep, I promise. Okay, and then we've got Vivid Sid 94 in. Do you follow other sports, e.g. the other Joker or Kobe comp? I do follow other sports. The NFL is my favorite sport other than the NBA. And quite frankly, it's like a toss-up. I like the NFL and the NBA. My whole life, if you ask me if my favorite sport is the NFL during NFL season, I would say the NFL. If you ask me what my favorite sport was during the NBA season, I would say the NBA. So I've watched the NFL and the NBA all regular season for like 30 years. I've watched all the playoff games in the NFL and the NBA for like 30 years. I like hockey and baseball, but I don't watch any regular season ever. I do love the playoffs. I love baseball playoffs. I love the hockey, the NHL playoffs. Unfortunately, I used to watch all the NHL games too. Unfortunately, with my commitments to this channel now, I don't get to watch as much of the NHL playoffs as I used to. But I still catch what I can. I love it. And I love the MLB postseason. I watch all those games. Love that time of year when the NBA is just getting kind of started. The NFL is in mid-season swing now. And then the baseball postseason is starting to percolate. Love that like October kind of time of the year. I live in Florida now where there really are no seasons, but it also, from my younger days when I lived up north, coincided with the seasonality and getting into fall. So I really do love that time of year, maybe my favorite time of the year. Though this time is now really climbing the totem poles because of how much I have going on with his channel and hanging out with you guys during the NBA playoffs. But I do follow other sports. You mentioned a tennis, but I do like tennis. I don't watch as much as I would like to. Gary's a big tennis guy as well. So I do want to watch. I would like to watch more tennis moving forward. I watch golf here and there as well, majors primarily only. And that's about it. Other than the Olympics every 4 years, mainly the summer. Love all of the summer Olympic sports. Love me some Olympics. Love me the gymnastics, the swimming, the track and field. Love it all. So I do watch that every 4 years. And I'll F with the Winter Olympics sometimes too. Not as much though as the summer. Okay, Cusmo Jimbo back in. If Skap, Gary, go ahead. You can read this one.
If Skap was a Batman villain in Gotham, since you're going there tomorrow, what would he be and why?
Well, Q's mode, I don't see myself as a villain. Come on, I see myself as the hero of the story. I think, I align or identify most with Bruce Wayne, without the money, of course.
Skap is Batman and I'm Robin.
There you go. I don't want to be a villain, Q's mode. If I were a Batman villain, though, I don't know. Maybe like the Riddler or something. I don't know. The Joker is my favorite villain. Gary and I have talked about that in previous casts, but I don't identify much with the Joker, even though I love the character and love him as a villain. But I identify as the Bat, obviously, is the hero Cuse mode. The hero that you guys need, or the hero that you guys need but don't deserve, or whatever the line was at the end of The Dark Knight, because he's the hero we need but not the one we deserve. So he has to run. Because he's our silent watch. What's the exact line, Gary? Do you know where I'm going with this? A quiet, a silent, a dark night. You know, Commissioner Gordon's final monologue as the Bat is like running away and getting on his little motorcycle. A silent watcher, a watchful guardian or something like that. A dark night. That's, guys, what I try to be on YouTube for you. That's me. You're watchful, you're silent guardian, only not very silent at all. But I hopefully, at least in terms of NBA basketball takes, I could be the hero that you guys need. But, guys, I'll tell you this. I got to get to Gotham. So speaking of New York on my trip tomorrow, it is 2:02 a.m. On the East Coast here in the US of A. We're coming up on the 3-hour mark. I've got to get out. I got to get some sleep. I haven't packed yet either. So I have to get up, shower, and pack and get out. So I got to slide out here at the 3-hour mark. Leave you guys still 500 people, which is crazy because I think we had 500 still on, 500 or 600 on last night when we signed off. 600, Gary saying, but we had 1,700 on at some point last night. So the retention tonight has been crazy. I think we had 800 or 900 on tonight, but we kept 500 on for the whole time. So again, guys, cannot express enough gratitude to all of you for your very kind support and ongoing generosity and in giving me your time and listening to me talk shit for 2, 3, 4 hours a night now over the last several weeks. It's been a blast for me. I hope to get on at some point tomorrow if I can. If not, I will connect with all of you guys again on Friday or on Thursday rather, and we'll get back on track on Thursday and Friday. So if I don't see you guys, have a great night tonight. Have a great day tomorrow and enjoy that. What I'm sure will be a crazy game tomorrow night. If we can't talk about it tomorrow, we'll do it on Thursday and pick it up from there, guys. Until